All eyes on a match that is a familiar T20 encounter. England against West Indies, two sides that have played each other a lot in this format. No more memorably, perhaps, the two matches here in India in the World Cup 10 years ago. Both won by West Indies, one of them here at the Wankhede, where a 47-ball 100 from Chris Gale saw England beaten. And then, who can forget Carlos Brathwaite's 4 sixes to dash England hopes at the conclusion of the final in Kolkata. So much to look forward to over the course of the next few hours. First things first, let's head to the middle for the toss, alongside the two captains, Ian Bishop.
It is a wonderful evening here at the Wankhede. It's nice and cool as well, and we have familiar foes battling today at this wonderful venue. Harry Brook leading England, Shea Hope leading the West Indies. Javagal Srinath, very familiar in these parts, is the match referee, and the toss rep will hand the coin over to the match referee, who will hand it to Harry. All right, we're just double checking. Everybody wants the coin.
Ready?
Heads.
Heads is the claw. Tails will have a ball. Oh. Okay.
Right, Harry, what are you going to do and why?
We're going to have a ball. We had a look at the stats and it favours the team batting second, so we'd like to have a chase tonight.
All right, you just got over the line. You kept it against Nepal. What have you discussed coming into this one?
It's all about staying cool, really, trusting our processes, sticking to the game plans, and yeah, hopefully we can have a good game tonight.
Any changes to your lineup?
Jamie Overton comes in for Luke Wood.
Is there a reason that you can give us for that change at all?
Just a little bit of extra batting. There's no reason, no hardship for Luke Wood, but yeah, we just decided to go down that route tonight.
All the very best to you and your squad.
You. Cheers. Cheers, Shea. Go on.
Shea having to line things up with the bat first of all. How do you feel?
Well, we would have bowled first as well, but we got to set the tone in the bat this time around.
All right, coming here and a very familiar foe. You guys have played against each other so often. What do you think the key will be?
Well, I think that could be a blessing and a curse, when you're playing against the opposition so many times. You get a sense of what they're capable of doing. You got our experience against them. But yeah, we got to make sure we bring our A game here today. We see it's a very important fixture for us, and we'll be ready for this one.
Any changes to your lineup tonight?
Yeah, we got one change. Matthew Ford out and Rawson Chase comes in.
Can you give us any insight into why you've made that swap?
Just a bit tactical. I think the way how their left-handers go about, maybe Chase would be a good counteractor for them. And yeah, he's just one of those versatile players in the middle as well, so we can use him at any stage.
All right, everybody in good spirits?
Yeah, all good. All
the very best to you and your team, Shea. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Right, just a reminder of what has happened here. England have won the toss. They will be bowling first.
Our thanks to Ian Bishop, who's out there with the two captains, and England have won the toss. They've elected to have a bowl first. Two sides that come into this game with victories to start their campaign, albeit rather different margins, with a fairly comprehensive win for West Indies over Scotland, 35 runs in their first game. And of course, here, what a thriller between Nepal and England. England just getting over the line by 4 runs thanks to the efforts of Sam Curran in that final over, managing to defend just 10 required. He only conceded the 5 runs and England got home. So both sides come into the game with a win, and it's always a win for me when I look to my left and I see Ashes winning fast bowler Stephen Finn with us as well. Finny, lovely to see you. What have we made of the last few days, and I suppose the reaction to England's victory first of all?
Well, I'd say relief, I think, from players, fans. Looking at the last 20 minutes of that game, I know my nerves were fraught up here, so I can only imagine what it would feel like to have been out there in the middle. But I think England will take great hope, actually, from the fact that they managed to stay calm. Harry Brook referenced there in his interview at the toss that England need to stay cool under pressure, and the one thing that was noticeable, actually, that him as captain and Sam Curran as bowler in that last over stayed really cool when it looked like a lot of things were stacked up against them, and they made the correct decisions, which will reinforce the fact that they can remain cool under pressure. So even though it was a tight game, even though really on paper they should have beat Nepal more comfortably than that, I think they'll take heart from the fact that they got over the line in that situation, and it makes the equation from here on in a little easier. It gives them a bit of leeway today, doesn't it, really, with their progression through to the next stage. But it's about building blocks and building good habits throughout the tournament, and they'll want to continue that today.
Well, the change that England makes is Luke Wood come out of the side, replaced by Jamie Overton. Luke Wood a little expensive, 1 for 31 from his 3 overs, but he also just seemed a little bit to fall victim from losing his plans a touch with wides and that penultimate over. Maybe he didn't lose his plans, but the execution of those plans, and in the end it all got a little bit tight, and also the extra batting that Overton brings.
Yeah, but Brooke mentioned the batting there, didn't he? I suppose they're going to have had to have discussions about that power play bowling, because Luke Wood was fundamentally in the team to try and take wickets inside those first 6 overs. Bowled that skiddy left arm pace, try and bring the ball back into the right-handed batters. So that's what he was predominantly in the team for. Having looked at the game the other day, the way the India game played here the night before as well, maybe they're looking for Dawson and Jacks to pick up some of that slack in the power play, as they feel that spin, particularly against the West Indies, who seem to like pace on the ball, maybe spin will be more dominant in that power play, and therefore you don't necessarily need Luke Wood in your team to bowl 1 over at the death. So hedging their bet slightly that Overton can fulfil some of that bowling through the middle overs, I would say, and then some lusty blows towards the end if they need them. He's a very handy batter to have at number 8.
Yeah, indeed. He's quite sought after in the global T20 game. History tells us this venue has been quite a run-heavy ground. Boundaries aren't huge, and also, yeah, it's a surface that has tended to favour batting. That wasn't the case the opening couple of matches. Different surface tonight, the one adjacent to the one that was used for the India-US game, and then also England against Nepal. But it was much more in favour of the spinners the other night.
Yeah, it was stodgy. The USA-India game was definitely a more stodgy pitch. It seemed to hold in the surface. The USA seamers had a load of success getting India into trouble by bowling the ball back of a length, mixing up their paces, which is a sign of a pitch that is a little bit too paced. I thought it got slightly better on the second day when England played against Nepal, and the way that Nepal nearly chased those runs down would have reinforced Harry Brook's decision to bowl first at the toss and restrict and then chase under the lights here in Mumbai. The one thing I would say is this is a new pitch, a fresh pitch, one that hasn't been used in this tournament so far, but I can see footmarks down there on the pitch which suggest to me that it has been used relatively recently, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays.
Well, a man who has scored runs on this surface, albeit not terribly recently, Prakash Wakanka. It was an unusual surface for Mumbai the other night. Or was it not?
Well, I don't really think it was that different. I think because we're used to just seeing roads in T20 cricket, where everybody just seems to go and get the ball coming onto the bat. I think this was a lot depends on this red soil, black soil thing, doesn't it? In terms of which one is being used. With strip number 7 today, which is adjacent to the one where the last game was played. I can't tell from this distance what kind of surface it's going to be, but it certainly looks, as Finney said, not a completely fresh, brand new strip, if you will. May have been some warm-up games, maybe some of the other stuff. The Ranji Trophy hasn't been played here, but I think it's such a different Wankhede Stadium when it's not buzzing and shaking and with all the noise. And even in the Nepal game, as we've talked, the Nepalese fans just made it a completely different spectacle. A fair few people in, but I suspect it's going to be nowhere near that in terms of atmosphere. How that works for the players, maybe it's good for both of them, because both sides really probably don't have that much of active support. The Barmy Army obviously not here.
What does it hold, this ground? Is the word
I think it's about 33, 35, somewhere there.
Similar to Lords, that sort of thing. Right, let me go through the two sides then in their entirety, because the players are gathering on the far end of the ground and the flags are being dragged out. We've got England with just the one change, as I mentioned. So Phil Salt and Joss Buttler to open the batting. Jacob Bethell, Tom Banton, Harry Brook is the captain. Sam Curran, who bowled that fabulous final over. Will Jacks, Jamie Overton in. Liam Dawson, Adil Rashid and Jofra Archer. Rashid and and Archer a little expensive the other night, but never a question really that England wouldn't keep selection with them, Stephen, because they are their key players, aren't they?
They're their guns, as players seem to be referred to these days. They're two of England's best bowlers and they're bankers, and yeah, they'd have been disappointed the other night that they didn't perform, but it's also good to see other people step up in that situation. You don't want the performances to come from two people throughout the whole tournament. So Rashid and Archer will hope for better days today, and I'm sure we'll get that.
Well, Carlos Brathwaite, the hero from 10 years ago, who we'll be hearing from later on commentary, has just carried the trophy out to the middle. Admittedly, last time I saw him with that trophy in hand, he was rather more exuberant than he is tonight in his white shirt, almost bursting at the biceps as he walks to the middle.
It looks like a Lego trophy in his hands, doesn't it?
It's amazing.
Rohit Sharma, who's quite small, carried it out for the game a few days ago, didn't he? And it looks like this big, heavy trophy, and Carlos carries it like it's a bit of Lego.
I know. West Indies, Shai Hope is the captain and keeper, Brandon King, Shimron Hetmeyer, Rovman Powell, Shafane Rutherford, Roston Chase into the side for Matthew Ford. Then we got Jason Holder, Romario Shepherd took a hat-trick against Scotland. Akil Hussain and Gudakesh Moti are going to be the big spin threats for this West Indies side. And then Shamar Joseph. So a good, very well drilled T20 unit. Lots of players that'll be very familiar to playing in the subcontinent and indeed Indian Premier League cricket. The sparklers are going up. Harry Brook is leading out the England side in their red jerseys and the blue bottoms, the maroon and the yellow familiar colours for West Indies as well. And each player hand in hand with a mascot heads out towards the middle for the anthems. It is as mentioned, it's a very familiar fixture, this, in T20 cricket. Since 2020 they've played 18 times in T20 matches, none of those in a World Cup. And overall in history, 37 T20 internationals, with England winning 19 and West Indies 18. So there is some good history between these two sides in the format. And what will we see this evening? Well, before anything else, we've got the anthems of West Indies and England. The two sides out there in the middle, those big flags stretched out as ever, and the crowd ready for two iconic cricketing anthems.
As the sun shines in the weekend day.
Well, there we go. The two anthems heartily sung by those supporters. If there's a fair few of them, and ever-increasing numbers coming through the turnstiles, actually. It's lovely to see plenty of West Indies flags around and jerseys, and a fair few England ones as well. Prakash, we'll say goodbye to you for now, but we'll hear plenty more from Prakash Wakanka as we go through the evening. Matthew Henry from the BBC Sport website with us as well, and we'll hear from Carlos Brathwaite, as mentioned. But Stephen Finn alongside me as we see the two sides just breaking away and heading towards the edge of the field. England will be a side that will feel they're into the tournament now. They'd got over that little test, and I say little test, big test in the end, but mentally it was significant to get through that game.
Yeah, and to stay calm under that pressure. I think Harry Brook had a good series in Sri Lanka, I thought, in both the ODIs and the T20s, and when you're a newish captain in your first World Cup, you want to make sure that you're making good decisions under pressure, and I thought that he handled himself really well the other day. Clearly we've got all the off-field stuff, all that's taken a back seat, hasn't it, the last few days, but rumbling on in the background. So to deliver the poor performance with the bat, and then as a captain that he did, I think he'll should be proud of that, and hopefully the same again for him.
Well, there's a little bit of a contradiction statistically to what Harry Brook said at the toss, which was that the history tells you that bowling first tends to be an advantage. Actually, apparently 60% of T20s here have been won by the side batting first.
Maybe he didn't read the stats right.
Yeah,
the wrong way round.
It's the other way round. Oh dear. So if England can restrict West Indies to less than 195, that is the average winning first innings total. But you know, stats, they can tell you anything, Finney. You've got to play what's in front of you, and it's not been a typical Wankhede surface from the first couple of matches that we've seen. Right, Jofra Archer, one of three players in the England lineup, born and raised in Barbados alongside Jacob Bethel and Phil Salt, so slightly unusual that over a quarter of your side is from one small Caribbean island and you're not playing for the West Indies.
Yeah, it was all very friendly out there, wasn't it, before the start of play? And that is the nature of international cricket these days. You play with and against the same players so frequently with franchise cricket that there would be a friendly nature, but trust me, I know Jofra Archer, there's going to be nothing friendly about the balls that he sends down to his buddies.
No, tends to be the case that it's flat out, doesn't it? 4
in
overs.
fact, he tries to bowl quicker to people he knows. That's
charming. 4 overs, 1 for 42 in the first game from Archer, which wasn't necessarily quite his standard return, really. I think he'll be a little disappointed with that, but he's got a chance to make up for it tonight, and will be eager to get England off to a good start. We've got a little bit of a pause as we wait for the clock to tick round to 7 o'clock local time. Thank you for joining us here on Test Match Special. I do really encourage you to relive the best of the action from the game between South Africa and Afghanistan. 2 super overs, which is frankly outrageous, and they would have kept on going had the super over on that subsequent super over been level as well, and it very nearly was. 3 sixes from the bat of Gurbaz, and it nearly took Afghanistan to their target of 24. Not quite though, but all the details on the BBC Sport website and app. Right, we're ready to go. A little wave of the hand from umpire Donovan Cock of Australia, and in comes Jofra Archer, right arm over, and it's a quick ball down the leg side, wide signalled, and we're up and running here in Mumbai.
Yeah, he's going to look to cramp the batters for room here, you'd imagine. The Nepalese batters stayed just a touch leg side to Archer the other night, but they got some nice shots through the covers on this surface, so Archer will have learned from that and just trying to tuck the batter up very first ball, but drifting down the leg side.
Dare I say it, did that look like there was perhaps a little more zip?
That certainly looked like it flew through,
didn't it? Butler took it quite high, as we see the right-handed Brandon King waiting. In comes Jofra Archer once more, and will bowl a ball which is defended from quite high up on the bat into the offside towards Liam Dawson, part of his 5th World Cup squad, but only made his World Cup debut the other day.
And he'd be happy with it as well. I thought he did really well. He's someone that we've been saying for a long time should be in and around this team, and that I've thought should be quite a crucial player with his controlled left arm spin, calmness under pressure, ability to do everything in the game. So I'm really happy for him to be getting a go in this tournament and to have played a prominent role the other night.
Here comes Archer again in the white bowling boots, running towards us. With King waiting and chasing a ball which is angled down towards Rashid at deep third, down below us. And Archer will march on back to the end of his mark, just dry his hands on one of the dusty wicket ends. As this West Indies score moves to 2 without loss. England winning the toss, electing to have a bowl.
I do get the sense already that this is going to be a better pitch than we saw the other night. Just the way that the ball's carrying through, even that one short and wide, it zipped off the bat, off the toe of the bat. So
here's Archer running in once again, and that one rather hurries Shai Hope in his first ball, the West Indies captain. He has a little look down on his bat. It's defended into the offside. As a bowler, if you see that, what are your feelings when you see the ball just skidding on through as a fast bowler?
Well, you drag your length back slightly, and Jofra got driven a few times in his first over the other night, maybe trying to slip through the drive of the opening bats of Nepal, but he knows that if he misses 4 here, he's just going to get driven through the offside. So dragging his length back slightly, trying to aim over the top of middle stump is a good way to go in the first over.
Archer again, 2 without loss, bangs it in short. Oh, that's come off, well, anything? I don't know. Wide signal from the umpire. It flew past the gloves of Joss Butler, high to his right, and it seemed to leap off the surface. It was wide outside the off stump, and it just seemed to keep climbing.
Yeah, and Overton has stood at first slip, and it's ended up going over his head. It was short and wide, but it's then nipped and swung as it's gone past the bat. Missed the bat and everything by a long way. Butler couldn't get anywhere near it, and Jamie Overton got a fingertip to it at first slip. He was wringing his fingers for a moment there. You're worried he might have dislocated the very end of it, but he hasn't.
7 without loss. 2 wide so far from Archer, who's in once again, and that's very short, and too short, says the square leg umpire, so that'll be another extra. And England were a little guilty of this the other night, Finney.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the wides that Luke Wood bowled in that 19th over, because he'd have wanted to stay away from the shorter boundary, which was towards the leg side as the right-hander was standing there. So as a left-arm bowler looking to drift across in that situation, I actually, if I was captaining or if I was in the team, I'd rather him miss the wide line that side than bowl it in the slot to get hit to the leg side. But yes, discipline is still important.
Archer once more. It's a fuller ball, which is pushed into the offside, and there's no run. When you mentioned that he'd try and bowl fast against his mates, and he's hurled down a load of bouncers.
Yep, that happens. Well, there's stories of him doing it in the nets. Thankfully, I never had to face him in the nets when we played together at Sussex, but you'd hear stories of him bowling to Chris Jordan or Phil Salt in nets where someone would just say something to him like, "Oh, they're not coming out that quick today, Jofra," and then bang, he'd fire up.
Why would you say that?
It'd be a foolish thing to say.
Archer again, hurtling in towards us, and this goes in the air, into the offside and into the hands of the fielder. England have got a wicket. Shai Hope is out without scoring, and an easy enough catch for Tom Banton, and Jofra Archer can celebrate. It was a ball outside the off stump, and it was rather pushed at without much control, and it's a pretty straightforward catch, really.
Yeah, I think Hope's eyes have lit up there. It was slightly short and slightly wide, but because of that bounce and the angle back into the right-handers that Jofra Archer gets, where if the ball hadn't moved or didn't have that angle, it probably would have hit the middle of the bat, but it cut back in and hit the splice, and therefore with no timing it's flown to the cover fielder Banton, who takes a simple catch around waist height. And Jofra Archer actually didn't celebrate at all there. He just kind of wandered through, you do that when you think your ball's not quite deserving of a wicket as a bowler, but you take them as they come, and Jofra has his first, 8 for 1.
So Banton with the safe hands, and out to the middle comes the dangerous Shimron Hetmeyer, who can hit the ball pretty much out of any stadium in the world. And this isn't a particularly big one. No,
he's a clean striker, isn't he? The responsibility, so he floats up and down the order, or he has floated in his career, hasn't he, up and down the order. But responsibility comes with batting at number 3. He did it really well in their first game of this tournament, and got them over the line in that game. He's going to have to do the same here.
Well, Archer strikes early, 8 for 1. Don't forget BBC Sport website and app for our UK listeners. You can see the best of the action there as part of our live text commentary service, and full match highlights available to watch there as well. Hello if you're listening in Australia on the ABC Listen app. around the world via the ICC as well. Every ball of every game of what has already been a compelling tournament, it has to be said. This match 15, we've seen some crackers.
Well, you'd be happy that Afghanistan-South Africa game, if the tournament just stopped there, you'd probably feel satisfied from an entertainment perspective.
Still that slip in place as the left-handed Hetmeyer waits for Archer around the wicket. He's in now. That's a nice ball. Beats the outside edge with Hetmeyer lunging forward. And there's actually more reaction from Archer to that ball than there was to the wicket. He's puffs his cheeks out and heads away to take his cap from the umpire. Gets a pat on the backside from Joss Buttler, and it's 8 for 1 after the first over.
Yeah, nice start by Jofra Archer. You'd be disappointed with the 5 wides, looking to slam it in and bowl an aggressive bouncer, but the line was wrong and the ball just carried on. So there were 5 runs gifted off that one delivery, but outside of that, banging back of a length, trying to hit over the top of the stumps and make the batters make the mistake, and he's forced one in that over from Shai Hope, who is generally the rock of this West Indian batting lineup.
Well, Sam Curran's going to bowl over number 2. We wondered who England would turn to for their power play overs. You thought Liam Dawson might get the nod, simply?
Yeah, I think I don't mind this decision because it's that left arm angle, not quite the same pace as Luke would, but I'd imagine he'll look to swing the ball here, look to target the pads. I still think Dawson will play a prominent role.
So 8 for 1. As Brandon King waits for Sam Curran, and he goes hard at that, into the offside. Fielder running round, takes a very good low catch. It's Phil Salt who's come dashing in from the deep cover boundary, and as he did the other night, he's shown safe hands as well, because that's not an easy catch dropping out of the night sky. West Indies 8 for 2, and Curran strikes with his very first ball.
It was the shot of a player who maybe didn't realise the fielder was out there. Just a full wide one from Curran, I think looking to get it to swing, but it doesn't. It carries on with the left arm angle across the right-handed King, and he thrashes at it because there was a wall of players on the ring on the offside, so he flashes at it and then he must look up and think, oh no, there's a fielder out there. It goes straight into Phil Salt's hands, running forward, as you say, Henry. Takes a smart catch, makes sure his elbows don't burst the ball out of his hands as they hit the ground, and England have 2 in 7 balls. Great start.
So 8 for 2, West Indies score. And Sam Curran deep in conversation with Harry Brook. I was really impressed with Brook's captaincy the other night, Finney.
Thought he was excellent. You have to make decisions on the spot as well. He opted not to bowl Adil Rashid all 4 overs, which an inexperienced captain may have thought, I have to bowl my most senior bowler all 4 overs, but it wasn't Adil Rashid's night the other night, so he shuffled his bowlers around, and the thing that stood out for me was that calmness in the last 6 balls. He used methods that we've seen Owen Morgan use before, where he grabs the ball and doesn't let the bowler have it until he's happy with everything, the field, the plan, and that the bowler's calm and ready to deliver their skill. So a good performance by Brook as captain, and he'll be delighted with the start here. The one thing I would say about Dawson bowling in this power play now, Hetmeyer is an excellent slog sweeper of left arm spin, so it may be a tactical decision not to bowl him against Hetmeyer in this situation.
Well, Sam Curran to bowl to Roston Chase, who comes into the side today. Mentioned at the toss from Shai Hope that to target England's left-handers with the ball in hand, but he's got a bat in hand now, trying to remedy a slightly awkward start from West Indies. As in comes Curran to bowl. This comes flying off the inside half of the bat, and there'll be a chase in the deep for Adil Rashid, who shows the enthusiasm of a man 20 years his junior. He very much is one of the veterans in the England side these days. 2 runs taken, and it's 10 for 2.
You'd say he is the veteran.
Do you think?
Well, I think that he's 2 years younger than me, Butler, so he's 34.
He's 35, Butler.
He's 35 now, is he? Well, he's in veteran territory. I don't think anyone else is...
It's quite a young team,
yeah,
really.
It is, isn't it?
Here comes Curran. Over the wicket. This is keeping low outside the off stump. That was a somewhat unusual reaction off the surface, and there's a few oohs and ahs from England in the field. When do you become
Dawson's 36.
When do you become a veteran? I think mid-30s.
Mid-30s, yeah. Although then when you are mid-30s, you feel aggrieved to be called a veteran, because in your mind you still feel young. I'm 36. I still feel young. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Probably need to start dressing my age a bit more, but...
Curran Dashes in. Oh, big appeal for LBW. England like it. A shake of the head. And as the throw comes in at the non-striker's end, there's a decision to make for keeper, captain and bowler here, because England have 2 reviews. Curran is, well, he's trying to have a little bit of a convincing case towards Buttler, who's not interested, and Buttler would have the better view than between he and Harry Brook, and England aren't going to go for that review.
No, Buttler wasn't interested at all. If he was interested, he'd have sprinted up towards Brook to make sure that his communication was succinct and clear. I think that's pitched outside leg and drifting down the leg side, but nice shape by Curran, keeping that line tight.
I enjoyed the fact that square on, Tom Banton was bellowing that it was absolutely out.
That's what you want from your fielders.
Here comes Curran again. This one is keeping just a little low as it's defended from the crease by Roston Chase, with 2 wickets down already, and we've got 1 ball left of the second over. Curran 1 for 2.
Yeah, slower ball there by Curran. It's one of Sam Curran's great strengths, is the fact that he's an all-rounder. It means he's constantly reading the game. He's done a lot of captaincy as well in the IPL here in India, and as a bowler you want to test out and see what is going to work on the pitch, and rolling his fingers over that one to see if there's any grip there.
Here's Curran in once more to finish the over, defended again from Chase, and what an excellent start that is. Sam Curran continuing as he left off. He takes his cap from umpire Alhajian Palaka from South Africa, and a wicket, a 2 and 4 dots from Curran represents a very good start indeed. I was at somewhere called Crawford's Market this afternoon,
okay,
which is a very historic part of Mumbai, and not far from the main central terminus for the railway coming in from the north. And I mean, you could buy anything in this market. There was cricket on virtually behind the counter everywhere. People watching the Afghanistan-South Africa game. Fruit from all over the world and all over India. Pets. Here's Archer, start of a new over. This is angled away into the offside. That's a nice looking shot, and it's going to bring a boundary. Hetmeyer riding the bounce, just angling it over backward point and getting 4.
Yeah, short and wide from Archer, round the wicket with a slip in place, looking to angle it in towards off and catch that outside edge, but just banged in short and wide, and Hetmeyer's not going to miss the opportunity to lift that up and over point, and it runs away for 4.
Could have got you a parrot. Here is Archer, helped down towards fine leg, or he's attempting to, is Hetmeyer. He doesn't quite get hold of it, and it drops rather square towards Jacob Bethel into the leg side, and it is 15 for 2.
I wonder whether he might bowl Will Jacks the next over. Archer's the kind of bowler that you can bowl 2-3 in a row in the power play. I just wonder whether getting spin into it and see if he can tempt the West Indies to play a false shot against spin inside this power play. It also gives them an early read about how spin might play through the middle overs.
Archer, as he does, just tosses the ball from one hand to the other, almost a bit like a wrist spinner practicing, just flipping the ball out of his right hand, catching it in his left, waiting for the go signal from the umpire in front of him. And it's Chase on strike, the right-hander, as here comes Archer again. Overton waits at slip. Archer in, full delivery, it goes fizzing through to Buttler. And Chase was down late on it, and that was not far from 150 kilometres an hour, which in miles per hour, Finney, I'll leave that to you.
It's about 92, isn't it? 93, 150 Ks.
Sharp.
It's fair to say that's sharp. I wouldn't fancy facing it.
Yeah, it's round about 91 miles an hour.
91.
It was full, it was quick. He's bowling with good intent here, Archer, as he comes in once more. Another full delivery. This is driven beautifully through the offside from Chase. That's a good shot. Just a little bit more width offered, and Chase was through the shot and testy outfield, which responded in kind by sending that ball quickly away to that deep cover boundary.
Yeah, it really is a lovely shot by Chase. Perfect seam position by Archer. There's no movement whatsoever, and it's full on around 7th stump, and Chase, just tall man, gets a full stride in, punches through the line of it, and when it comes that quick, if it comes out the middle of the bat, it disappears quick as well. Nice shot.
So 19 for 2. 2 balls left of the over. Already we've seen 9 runs coming from this over. Archer has bowled 10 balls, 1 for 16. He got the wicket of Shea Hope in the first over. Crucially, Archer again to bowl to Chase. It's banged in short. There'll be no run there. It drops to Bethel at backward point, who cuts a distinctive figure with that mop of a mullet of blonde hair. He's got a very distinctive accent, Jacob Bethel. There's a hint of the Brummie from his time moving to Warwickshire, just a little bit. But it is a very Bayesian accent. I was in a coffee shop this morning that is frequented by some of the England team from their hotel as well. And I was just looking at some notes ahead of this game. I heard the accent. Could only possibly have been one person ordering this matcha latte. In comes Archer. Runs in, bowls, and defending into the offside once again is Chase. And the over comes to an end. 9 from it. 19 for 2 after 3. And West Indies haven't exactly got away quickly. But a couple of boundaries in that over will give them a little bit more confidence. Wow, won't we see a shift to the bowling? I can see Liam Dawson wandering about with intent. But I think it's going to be Sam Curran once again.
He doesn't strike me as a matcha latte sort of person. Jacob
I've added
Bethel.
that for artistic license. I don't actually know what he ordered.
Strikes me as just a flat white, I feel. Maybe a piccolo.
What's a piccolo?
It's less milk, same amount of coffee, but less milk, I think, which is less than a cortado.
That's Stephen Finn, a resident of
Southwest London,
the Clapham area of London. For all of your sourdough loaf, coffee, and...
No, not quite. I stick to my Watford roots. Cup of builder's tea.
19 for 2. Hetmeyer on strikers. In comes Curran to the left-hander, defending from the crease. Into the onside it goes, and there's no run. If there's one thing that you can be fairly sure of, is that cricketers have a radar for a good coffee shop.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It's one of the first
congregate,
things, yeah. But I think the first thing you check is there a good golf course close by, and then where's the coffee shops?
Golf, you say?
Well, they could be partial to it, yeah.
Curran again, running in to bowl to Hetmeyer, and a delivery which, with pace taken off it, is looped in the air into the leg side and is not far away from Phil Salt. He did not time it at all. Hetmeyer gets back for a second, and just for a moment Salt thought he was in the game.
Yeah, you could see he was toying up whether to pull out the full dive towards it. It was hacked out towards mid-wicket. It's the moon ball that Curran has bowled for the last 12 months or so, and Hetmeyer saw it, picked it, and his eyes would have lit up as it landed, but there's just no pace on the ball. You have to really muscle it. We've seen many batters get out trying to put the pace onto the ball, and Hetmeyer gave it a go there and could get nowhere near the boundary. Lucky to survive.
Curran again into bowl to Hetmeyer. Once more, pace taken off it. Blimey, that's a hit. Smashed away into the leg side. Hetmeyer gave it everything and got the reward. 6 runs, and Curran with pace off it again. This time he picks it, and a ball that was sent down at 50 miles an hour fizzes away to the boundary for 6.
It's fair to say he's wellied that one. Still rising as it hits the second tier of the stand. Curran looking to bluff Hetmeyer there, but Hetmeyer picking up all the cues that the bowler might have given him the ball before, waiting for it and slog sweeping that as if Curran was a spinner for 6.
That was savage.
Yeah.
27 for 2. Curran again, and this is pace on, tickled round the corner, 4 more. Just losing his line a little bit there, Sam Curran, and he's gone 2-6-4 in the over now. West Indies are getting a little bit of momentum here at 31 for 2.
Yeah, it's funny how quick it shifts, doesn't it? A couple of nice shots and you quickly forget about those 2 wickets and start thinking about how you're going to pick the bowlers off rather than survive. And here Curran almost had no option but to go back to pace on after the 2 moon balls, drifts down the leg side, and all Hetmeyer has to do is tickle it round the corner off the middle of the bat, and this quick outfield gets him 4 runs. The slip's now gone out to a short fine leg to try and mitigate that kind of shot.
Curran once more. over the wicket to bowl a ball which very nearly played on, and there could be a bit of trouble at the non-strikers end. Throw comes in and call through for a single. Ruston Chase was eager. I'm not sure Hetmeyer quite read the cue, but that was very nearly a dismissal, with Hetmeyer more worried about where the ball had gone and taking on the run. He very nearly chopped on, gets a single. 32 for 2. If you want to get in touch today, email us tms@bbc.co.uk. Live text commentary on the BBC Sport website and app, as there is for every game of the tournament. You'll find your highlights there as well. Edward Rajan's looking after things there on the live text. Join the conversation. Here comes Sam Curran to finish the over. It's banged in short and hacked into the onside by Chase for probably just the one run, and indeed it is. 14 from the over, and West Indies after 4 are 33 for 2 here on Test Match Special.
Yeah, it still looks like a good pitch to me. Gonna have a look at spin here, it looks like. Josh Butler calling for his helmet, and the distinctive haircut of Will Jacks appears from underneath his cap. Going to get some off spin here. It's not surprising given Hetmeyer's ability to play that slog sweep against the left arm spin. Sensible to bowl Dawson outside of the power play, even though he did a good job the other night. But that ball spinning into Hetmeyer is something he really enjoys. So the right arm off spin means that Chase will be hitting to the slightly bigger boundary out towards the leg side if he decides to take it on, and the ball will be moving and spinning, hopefully spinning from an England perspective, away from the edge of Hetmeyer's bat.
Well, it's the two fielders in the deep on the leg side during the power play overs, of which we've got 2 remaining. 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle as Will Jacks round the wicket into Ruston Chase. Bowls, it's back towards Jacks, who took a good caught and bowled in the first match. And he does cut a distinctive figure with that bleached blonde hair, sort of Eminem look. Here's Jacks. Smashed away over cover out towards the deep. He's not quite got all of it, but enough of it. Ruston Chase to get a boundary. Brook in pursuit couldn't get that, and it's 4 runs, 37 for 2. Just a little bit of width offered.
It's quick from Jacks, 58 miles an hour, looking to drive the ball into the surface, but coming out slightly full, and Chase just gave himself a little bit of room outside the leg stump, so clearly not thinking that there's all that much spin there for Jacks, and he can just hit through the line of the ball over wide mid-off.
Jacks again, this time the sweep is attempted, and he's met that nicely. 4 more.
Yeah, that's called the 1-2 from Ruston Chase. Steps outside, legged the ball before, and Will Jacks gives him the width to hit it up and over wide mid-off, and then this next delivery crabs across the crease, gets down early to sweep, and because of both those fielders inside the ring, all he has to do is lift it over them and it'll race away for 4 as well. Good batting, good tactical batting.
Jacks is getting targeted a little bit here. He moves in again, arms high above his head, and bowls a full delivery which is in the air and over the fielder. And away it goes very quickly, actually, over Brook at mid-off for 4 more. 3 boundaries in a row now, and this little experiment in the power play has not necessarily come to much fruition for England. Now West Indies are going at a run rate of close to 10 and over.
Yeah, full bunger from Jacks, maybe just looking for that Yorker, but Chase just timed it. He didn't even really look to hit it. I think everyone was just, for a second, thinking Harry Brook might pull something special out, a big one-handed jump above his head, but at the last second decides to bail out because it was too far above him, and Chase 3 boundaries in a row. Jacks is coming over the wicket to try and create a different angle.
He'll try once more. In comes Jacks, a little bit quicker this time. Nudged into the onside just for 1 more, perhaps damaged limitation, the order of the day, and that was sent down a lot quicker.
Yeah, the field had changed, the deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square, the 2 fielders out the 30-yard circle for that delivery. So Jacks from over the wicket looking to fire it into the hip of Chase, so all he can do is nudge it into the onside for that single.
Well, Hetmeyer, who whenever he's facing spin, bats without a helmet or a cap, waits for Will Jacks, who's in now, and that's going to be 6. Drifting onto the pads and sent sailing away over backward square leg for 6. 19 from the over, and West Indies past 50. And this partnership now 44 from 23 and looking dangerous. That did not work for England, and Will Jacks 4-4, 4-1-6. And there was some reasonably loose stuff in there, I'm afraid. And so, for those England fans, including a gentleman in that distinctive 2019 jersey in the seating just outside this commentary box, disappointment, I think it's fair to say, from that over. As we see Jamie Overton, I think, about to be given the ball for the first time today. Right then, I'm getting out of the way. Here comes Prakash Wakanka.
Yeah, Overton into the attack. More conventional field here. Deep third. And short fine legger inside the ring. There's a deep backward square and a deep backward point. Overton will just look to try and bowl over the top of the stumps, back of a length.
Right then, the last over of the power play. Overton in, bowls. It's in the air but didn't carry. It looked like it had been mistimed. Desperate dive at the non-striker's end by the non-striker. Hetmyer to just make sure he got back in. There's a bit of a mix-up there. Archer just beyond the 30-yard circle there. It didn't quite reach him. And then the attempted single almost led to a run-out.
Well, that's an all-action welcome to the commentary position, Prakash, isn't it? There's a lot happening there.
Yes, there was lots of that. I think a change of gloves, as often happens when the batter dives with the inside of the gloves then getting onto the soil, and then they have to be replaced so that they continue to get their grip now. But what a fifth over of the innings that really got the West Indies off, as you would say, in terms of just getting a bit of momentum into the innings. 19 runs coming off that one, and Jamie Overton now trying to get into the last over, try and make some amends. Here he's in, bowls to Chase off the thigh pad, ricochets in front of square. They'll take a single. There will be no run in addition to that. So 53 now.
Yeah, England just need an element of calm here for a couple of overs. Overton's going to try and provide that simple game plan. That would have been out, that run out. Hetmyer diving, groping for the line as he was sent back by Chase as a result of the mistimed shot, and it would have been out by 3 or 4 inches there. So could that be a miss? Hetmyer's such a dangerous player.
He is, isn't he?
Just hits it so clean. The 2 sixes he's here, he just absolutely walloped them.
There's Overton again over the wicket bowls, and Hetmyer's rushed into it. He's not even looking at the single that Chase was interested in, and as a result they will not get any addition to the total, which remains at 53 for 2. Remember, England winning the toss, deciding they would have a bowl. Early success, 2 quick wickets, both openers gone, and then this partnership now is worth 45 of 26. 21 and 23 to Chase and Hetmyer respectively, and Hetmyer's 23 have come off 9 balls. He's on strike now. Bat raised, waits for Overton, bowls, and he goes for a big flick through the onside. It's ricocheted off the right pad. It's run down towards third. Rashid cleans up, but not before the batters come back for the second run. Leg by signal by the umpire, as you would expect, looking for a big heave through the onside again there, Hetmyer.
Yeah, just looking to time it. The only fielder out on that leg side is the deep backward square. The fine leg is up inside the circle, so any tickle he gets on that down the leg side is a boundary.
3 men in the ring on the onside to go along with 4 on the off. Here's Overton again. Ball. This one's gone straight up in the air. Man getting underneath it. This should be taken, and it is. And it's Sam Curran who takes the catch. So the dangerous Hetmyer departs for a 10-ball 23. The nature of the game, many would ask, did you need to do it? But that's the way he plays. England strike 55 for 3 with 1 ball of the power play to come.
Yeah, banged in by Overton. It's probably a touch wide outside off stump, and maybe a bit quicker than Hetmyer anticipated. So the top edge goes straight up, and not easy to catch those. It's a completely clear black night sky up there, and Curran settles underneath it and catches it with a little pigeon step towards the ball, and Hetmyer and Chase were motoring there a little bit, but Overton's put the brakes on and takes the important wicket of Hetmyer.
Yes, so the West Indies rocked again after a good partnership of 47 between these two, as the first round of drinks come out. And I have to tell you, Finney, I'm probably showing my age here, but something about the West Indies national anthem, or well, the West Indies anthem, because of the fact that it's a it's a collage of nations, and yet the rally round the West Indies is such a iconic anthem, taking nothing away from any of the others around the world, but it just brings back memories of the great West Indian teams of the past, and that's a legacy that somehow hasn't quite been retained. I know there's efforts being made, but the West Indies, such entertaining and unbelievable cricketers. It's always fun to see a team in maroon come out with the West Indies emblem.
Absolutely, and so good at T20 cricket as well. Double champions, aren't they? 2012 and 2016. They haven't done it for 10 years or so, but they'd love to do it again here. And
the last time they did it was here as
exactly,
well. So why not?
Memories.
Yep.
But yeah, certainly. When they play well, they're a sight to behold, aren't they? They could score 300, bowl you out for 80, and win by miles. But yeah, the 3 down here. The complexity of the innings has changed again. 3 down inside the power play. Even though England have conceded 55 runs, those 3 wickets will mean a lot.
Indeed, and Sherfin Rutherford is the man in, who will now join Roston Chase. Both Barbadians together now. And of course Barbados, often along with Jamaica, considered to be the powerhouse, if you will, of West Indies cricket. But the CPL, like we've seen with so many leagues around the world, unearthing talent and letting younger players from around the islands make a claim for that maroon cap, and that can only be good for West Indies and world cricket. Right then, so the drinks are off the field, and the new man Rutherford just marking out his guard. He will face Jamie Overton, who has struck in his first over. 1 ball to come in the power play. If you've just joined us, 55 for 3, England won the toss, asked the West Indies to bat. They lost 2 early wickets, and then a 47-run partnership powered them to 52, and soon thereafter they lost Hetmeyer, and now we have Rutherford joining Roston Chase, who's batting on 21 off 17. Jersey number 10, slip in place, shot backward third or widest shot third, call it what you will. Cover, extra cover, mid-off. That's the offside field with a sweeper at deep backward point covering up. Here's Overton bowls, and Rutherford just glides it and beautifully stopped. Full diving length way to his left there. Superb stop, I think it's the England captain. And that certainly saved 4, because that was racing away. End of the power play, 55 for 3. You'd say, on balance, given the nature of this game, even at this stage?
I'd say 52-48 to England. I think the 3 wickets are significant inside that power play. You're kind of willing to give or take 10 runs on that as a bowling team if you do pick up those 3 wickets, especially when one of them is Hetmeyer.
I think that might have been the deciding or the decisive moment. Right then, leg spin. Here's the chance for Adil Rashid to, well, not necessarily redeem himself, that's the wrong word, but certainly a chance to show on this same ground here, not the same strip, mind you, that the other night against Nepal was an aberration. Let's see what field he's got. Butler's right up to the stumps. The shot, widest shot third. There's a man at backward point, sweeper cover, extra cover long off. That's the offside field as Rashid starts his slightly angular run up to the wicket. Comes in, hands wheeling, bowls, clipped away on the onside by Chase. He'll pick up 1 to the man coming off the deep mid-wicket boundary. 56 now for 3.
This over will tell us as well what this pitch is doing, because if there is turn or if it is at all stopping, Adil Rashid will find that turn. We'll see him vary his pace quite a lot in this first over to try and work out what is the optimum pace on this pitch. So I think this will give us a good indication as to what we're dealing with, whether it's a belter, whether it could be tricky.
The left-handed Rutherford now on strike. Adil Rashid in bowls, and Rutherford drives nicely, full face of the bat, out towards long off, picks up a run. Off the mark. 57 now for 3 in the 7th over. The Wankhede Stadium, because of the way it's built, and once again I think the Mumbai crowd showing they love their cricket. It's not as if you've got big pockets supporting one or the other side. Slightly short of a length, almost a leading edge back to the bowler as Chase looked to turn it away on the onside. Played a little bit early, and luckily for him it didn't balloon up. No real hint of major turn yet. But Rashid just seems that much more confident. Here he is again in bowls. Gives this one air and he beats him inside edge. Just squeezes between, I think, Butler and the wicket. Lucky there, really lucky for Roston Chase. He could have easily played that on. Played it from a stationary position. No real movement of the feet. Bat just hung out there. And he has to consider himself distinctly lucky. Here's the replay. That'll confirm. Yes. Ooh. Bowls. And he beats him with one that goes away. So Rashid's into the groove. He's clearly asking awkward questions of the West Indian batters here. 58 for 3, last ball of his first over. And he looks such a different bowler this evening. That was the wrong one, leaving the left-hander. Here he is in again, bowls. And worked away, and he dives away to his left and makes sure there is no run. So an excellent over from Adil Rashid. 3 runs off it, and the Windies now 58 for 3 after 7 overs.
He's pulled the full repertoire out there. He's gone out the front of the hand and quite quick into the surface to get into the over. Then floated the one up that did chase into flight, that was an inside edge just past the stumps. The googly spins past the outside edge, and then he finishes it with another one out the front of the hand. It's an excellent first over, and no significant turn there, but the skill and the pace and the difference in flight has been what's helped Rashid there. And excellent start, and England will be glad they're doing a good job here.
He's, I think, seen the back of Hetmyer. He seemed to be in a totally different mood today. He got his 23 odd runs off 10 balls, and then the 10th one was the one that he was dismissed on. Overton to continue bowls. Quicker delivery, turned away on the onside, not for runs. Goes straight to the fielder. Will Jacks is over, the most expensive one of the innings so far, 19 off it. But that can happen when you get a spinner to bowl in the power play. Captains here, of course, early part of the tournament, also looking at options that they might use later. Here's Overton in bowls to Chase. It's in the air, won't carry. And a shy at the non-strikers and hits the wicket. But I think Roston Chase may be in. And I think Jack's suggesting that. Had a good view, one stump to aim at, but that's encouraging, because that always then puts a little bit of extra doubt, doesn't it, Finney, in the mind of the batters when you see the stumps lit up with a direct hit, even though you might be safe for the moment. 59 for 3.
Yeah, England's fielding's been good today as well. I think they've been sharp when they've shied at the stumps. It's been hard, flat throws, a couple of good catches as well, Salt and Curran. So they're into their work nicely here. Chase home quite comfortably there as that ball hit the stumps, but as you say, the intent and showing the batters that you're going to have that intent to run them out is important. Yeah,
and I think Overton just getting the ball up a little bit higher and quicker to Chase, which is why he nearly mistimed it straight into the hands of Will Jacks. Luckily for him, it didn't carry that far. Overton now to Rutherford, who's once again playing that little just dab down towards deep third. He'll pick up one. Short statured. Sherfin Rutherford, having won the IPL once with KKR, but not getting a game in the tournament, or in that particular year, now with the Gujarat Titans, with Shubman Gill as his captain, and he'll be hoping for a good IPL, which follows of course after this T20 World Cup. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup is completed. There's Jamie Overton now in again, past the umpire. He's up, he bowls to Chase, and Chase drives, but straight to short extra, and there's no chance of a run. 60 for 3. Wickets, the miracle thing, isn't it? Every time a wicket or two falls, you just see the rate plummet.
Yeah, and that's why as a bowler and as a fielding team in particular, you have to think to take wickets, even if there's a partnership, as they had there between Chase and Hetmyer. If you break it, you give yourselves an opportunity to squeeze.
In goes Everton again, bowls, and this one's I think he got the inside part of the bat. He's going to be lucky. He's going to get 4 runs because he swung hard, did Chase, so he got enough on it, and the pace of the bowler, 143 clicks that one, and taking the inner part of the bat, squeezing through to deep backward square for 4 runs. A welcome boundary. It was a while since the West Indies got a boundary. 64 for 3 in the 8th.
Yeah, big Mo. Cross-seam delivery by Overton, looking to just bang it in back of a length, and Chase mowing across the line.
Last ball off his over. Bowls, and Chase defends to a good ball that was aimed right at the timber, defended by the tall, slim figure of Ruston Chase. That's the end of the 8th over, and this math even I can do. Flat 8 runs and over is the current rate at which the West Indies are going along. Quick drink for the two batters, and similarly a drink for one of the England players as well. 64 for 3 under lights here at the magnificent Wankhede Stadium, remodelled in time for the 2011 World Cup. So it's been 15 years since this new stadium was built. I was just sharing with Stephen Finn that 1975, when this stadium was first built as an alternative to the Brabant Stadium, or the Cricket Club of India as it was called, it was all concrete, and it was the West Indies actually who played the first test here under Clive Lloyd. So this is a very different looking stadium now. With a change in bowling at the far end, Liam Dawson is into the attack, and as Stephen Finn told us, probably held back a little bit because of the presence of Hetmeyer. Now, even though he's got a left-hander, he's not Hetmeyer. Dawson starts his spell for the evening. First ball in bowls, and Rutherford pushes on the offside. He will not get a run. 64 for 3.
Just such a canny bowler, Liam Dawson. He had a good night the other night against Nepal, and just one of the big reasons why England ended up winning that game. It's great to see him getting his opportunity in a World Cup as well. He's 5 World Cup squads. This is the first one he's played in.
Here he is again. Bowls, quicker action, nicely played off the back foot. He'll get a single down towards deep backward point. Are they going to take the throw on? They are taking on the arm, but he's quick is Rutherford, and will pick up the second run comfortably. 66 for 3. I think Phil Salt making ground, away to his right and away on our left as we look down. I was about to say that the cricket-loving public of Mumbai coming in for a neutral game, it started off looking a bit sparse, but it's filling up now, and just shows that some places the love for cricket transcends everything else. Lawson bowls, and it's driven off the back foot out for a single towards long off. Chennai, Mumbai, to an extent Bangalore, and of course Kolkata, the traditional centres. And now, of course, in a country as big as this, you have to move the international cricket around. But Mumbai remains, I think, very much a central part of India's cricketing law. Change in field. Archer was to be moved, but change of mind again. Just looking at the 3 men on the deep on the onside, wideish long on, deep mid wicket, and a man deep back to the square, sweeper cover, and a long off. Those are the 5 boundary riders. Dawson in bowls, and Chase is playing it nicely. Just a little ramp round the corner. Very nicely played. Got down low and picked it up on the half volley and just guided it past the keeper on the onside. Helped himself for 4 important runs. 71 for 3 in the 9th.
Yeah, intelligent from Ruston Chase. Dawson looking to cramp him for room. Doesn't want to give him his arms outside off stump, but just a little shimmy across to middle, and then down in a lap sweep that beats Jofra Archer's right hand.
In is Dawson again in bowls. This time drags it back a little bit in the air, but well away from the short extra where the England captain was fielding. He'll pick up a run down towards wideish long off where Overton does the fielding. 72 now for 3. Run rate just a shade over 8, so it's well poised, this game. If the West Indies can build a partnership here, they could get towards a nice defendable total that they'd believe. England, on the other hand, will be looking to try and pick up a wicket or two to just push this back. This partnership almost run a ball now. Dawson bowls, and Rutherford plays it really, really well, intelligently, just placing it between the 2 men in the short third backward point area. Picks up 2 good runs. He's played this shot now for the 3rd or 4th time, just guiding the ball between the fielders in the ring behind square on the offside. 9 overs bowled, 74 for 3. Chase is now 33 of 27. Rutherford 7 of 9. And as the field changes over, a word then, Finney, on how this tournament's gone so far. What a day we've had today, but we thought we'd seen a lot of it on the first day, but this morning was something else.
Yeah, that Afghanistan-South Africa game was remarkable, wasn't it? I sat in my hotel room watching on the TV, and I thought that it was going to go to another super over. The wide almost felt as though it was scripted off that last, or the second, what ended up being the second last ball, for Afghanistan to hit a 4 to then take it to a third super over. Quite ridiculous game of cricket.
Unbelievable. Here's Rashid starting, a change of ends for him as well. Comes in now, bowls, and again I think it defeats the forward defensive stroke that was attempted. Takes the inside part of the bat, must be the wrong one, and I don't think Chase sort of read that, but a single nevertheless accruing as Archer fields from 45. 75 for 3.
Well, there were debates, weren't there, as to whether it was the greatest T20 international of all time.
And that debate will continue for a bit. Wide outside the off stump, going further away. White signalled.
Depends who you support as well. I'm sure that teams who have won T20 World Cups would argue that their greatest ever T20 of all time would be the World Cup final win. But I think for drama,
Rashid bowls, giving this one a little bit more air. Again, the inside part of the bat runs out towards forward square for a single. 77 now for 3. .2 overs gone. Current run rate 8.25. Chase on 34. Rutherford on 8. Is there a big shot coming? We haven't had a boundary for a while from a West Indian perspective. Rashid bowls, and he struck him on the back pad. That should be out. It is signalled as such by the umpire. Now, is he going to review this? He was done in the air. Wrong one came back at him, and he's has he gone up yet? He's having a word with his partner, and they have decided, I think, to review. So from where we're looking down, looked pretty dead.
Yeah, completely done, with the ball that's just drifted in with the arm and then continued on its line. And it only has to be clipping as well.
Yeah, umpire, the on-field decision is out. So first thing they'll check is to make sure if there's any bat involved. Doesn't look like there is any, but the TV umpire will have a look.
Take that back to me one more time, please. And forward from there, thanks. Close to the edge there, but I've got flat line rolling through. Thank you. There is no
hush around the stadium. Everyone's waiting expectantly.
Ball tracking coming up now, Palace. Original decision was out. Pitching outside off. Impact is in line and wickets hitting. Palace should be staying with your original decision.
Confirmation.
Stand by, put you on screen. You're on screen, signal now, please.
So Ruston Chase walks back. LBW to Adil Rashid, and he'll feel really good, Will Rashid, with that ball. Sharp turn back in.
Yeah, googly, wasn't it? It wasn't a drifter, it was a googly. So the line that it started on, it then spins very slightly back in, but only has to be slight to beat the inside edge of Ruston Chase's bat, who'd gone right back onto his stumps. If it was a leg spinner, he'd have punched it through the offside. At the last second, realising that it was a googly and chopping all around it, and where it hit him on the pad, it's hit him on the knee roll, on the back leg, in front of the stumps. It's inconceivable that it would have done anything but hit the stump. So a surprising review.
Do you think it often happens when you're a very tall batter and you just feel that because the balls hit you maybe around the knee roll, you just think that maybe is that a factor is what I'm wondering, because this looked so dead,
yeah,
even from
dead.
Where we are.
In that situation, you'd want your partner ideally to say that you're in strife here, mate. You've been hit on the knee roll on the back leg. It's probably good enough to see the back of you. So West Indies review is gone.
Yes, they've lost one review. Roughman Powell now, the man in, 32-year-old, and he is going to be required, I think, to do a job here for the West Indies. Rutherford's been sort of subdued, watchful, 8 of 10 for him, and with 3 balls of the 10th over to come at the halfway stage, the West Indies not necessarily looking in control. I think England definitely have their noses in front now, particularly with this wicket of Chase, who got 34 of 29. Rashid bowls, pushes him onto the back foot, takes the outside of the left pad as it ricochets out, and it's taken by Butler. There will be no run. Crowd quiet, expectant. What a different crowd today from the one we had the other night when Nepal were playing here. The Nepalese supporters have almost already become legendary As here's Adil Rashid in again, bowls, tosses this one up and coming forward, beaten completely. So Rashid really posing questions that the West Indian batters, for the moment at least, seem to have no answers for. This one was nicely tossed up, grip turned a little bit and beat the forward prod that Powell had put in.
43 miles an hour.
Slip in
So
place.
slow.
Slip in place too. Bowls. And this time he gets bat on ball. He's got some power as well. Work for Salt to do, which he will, and limit it to 2 runs. So end of a successful over for Adil Rashid and for England. 79 for 4. 10 overs have been bowled. And with Rutherford on 8 and Powell on 2, I think it's time for me to hand over to Henry Moran after a quick word from Stephen Finn.
Yeah, the halfway stage, England will be delighted with having taken 4 wickets and 4 important ones. We know the West Indies bat deep and have power all down the order, but to see the back of a few of those players who could be so dangerous towards the back end of the innings leaves England, for me, ahead in the game. It looks like a good surface. There's no real demons in there. Maybe slight spin for Rashid, but you would expect that from a wrist spinner. So England well placed, but they need to see this out now for the next 10 overs.
Well, there's plenty in now, Finney. Good crowd.
Atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, good crowds come in. We're going to see Liam Dawson, who went for 10 from his first over, bowling from the far end of the ground. He stands with legs that are slightly broader than shoulder width apart as he grips the ball in front of him and now comes in to deliver a ball to Shafin Rutherford that has worked into the onside. He's a brilliant year, Rutherford, by the way. The most successful in his career to date. His run scoring in the format has been outstanding. 12 innings, averaging 58.5 with a strike rate of 166. So England will be eager to get his wicket. As we are going to give you a break, Stephen Finn. So you take off your headset and the presence walks in of Carlos Brathwaite. Lovely to see you, Carlos. Here comes Dawson, defended into the offside. How are you, matey?
Oh, I'm good. Pleasure, absolute pleasure to see the boys.
Very nice to see you. Well, here we go. England West Indies at a World Cup in India. Any memories? No.
Nah, surely not.
Surely not. Forget all about that. Here comes Dawson. Round the wicket, round arm action. It's pushed past him by Rovman Powell, who moves on to 3 from 5. West Indies 81 for 4. And it barely feels like yesterday, Carlos.
No, it does feel like 10 years ago.
Do you reckon? That's what.
Yeah, my knees.
Yeah, that's what having kids does to you, though, isn't it, Carlos? 81 for 4. In comes Dawson, bowling to Rutherford, who'll get a run into the onside. And the score moves on to 82 for 4. What have you made of this thing, Carlos?
I've enjoyed it. It got this big billing as, high pace, big hitting. And right away from the very first over, Joff sent down some thunderbolts. Shimron Hetmeyer came in and played his strokes. And I don't think any team has taken a backward step so far, even bowling Dawson with Rutherford in.
As Dawson moves in round the wicket once more, a little bit quicker this time, defended by Powell in the baseball cap.
Yeah, and Will Jacks came in for 1 over. Rawson was like, this is my matchup. Took him down 19 off. So now it's been quality, very high quality cricket. It's been a good watch.
Final ball of the 11th over, just 3 from it so far, is Dawson, and it'll only be a 4th run. Punch down the ground, he's bowled nicely here. As we were recalling, the more famous game of that 2016 campaign, of course, the final, but Chris Gale's 47 ball 100.
Yeah, we wanted to say something on air on the TV, but does get throughs over too quickly. I remember Suleiman Ben telling him, "Go and entertain me."
Really?
And that he did. And I think when he got to the 100, he pointed at Suleiman Ben and did some sort of celebration. But that was a really good memory. It was just carnage and domination. After a few shots from Shimron Hetmeyer, I thought we were about to see a repeat, but that was short-lived.
Yeah, it was some night that, and it was more of a traditional kind of run fest that you get at this ground. It feels like it's a little bit of a closer battle between bat and ball. on this surface, and the surface that we saw for the England-Nepal and India-USA game. In comes Will Jacks then with the blonde hair. Punch towards wide long off from Tom Banton. Out towards the deep it goes for one. West Indies run rate in the innings around 7.5 and over. They're 4 down, but they've got power to add in the form of these two, Rutherford and Powell. Shepherd, Holder, you'd have thought are going to be really where the remaining big engine room power comes before Hussain, Joseph and Moti. Will Jacks round the wicket, and there's a ball that comes off the inside half of Rutherford's bat and drops down towards short fine leg.
As I was doing my calculations, I was wondering, Will Jacks had bowled 1 over, will they bowl Dawson to Hetmeyer or Rutherford? And you probably needed to find 3. Well, this would be the 4th over of that set.
Hit down the ground, that's going to be 6. Smacked away over long on. That is a really clean bit of ball striking from Rutherford. And Banton just watched it sail over his head. That is a powerful stroke.
I was about to say, I think they need to get a move on in this over, because now Harry Brook has the option to bowl pace for the rest of it. The pitch, I think, may dictate that you slide another 1 or 2 maybe from Dawson, as he's been going well, but you can get pace from one end now. Adi Rashid has 2 more that he can close out with pace. So this is a pivotal over for any little bit of momentum the West Indies can get.
3 runs, 3 balls left of it, and there's 6 more runs from it. Walloped away into the leg side, out towards a Blackball Cricket Club flag up there in the stand. And it's back-to-back 6s for the batter Rutherford as West Indies move towards 100, 96 for 4.
And this is quality batsmanship. He bided the time against Adi Rashid, and as soon as Will Jacks came on, the intent switched. And once you put a part-timer, with all due respects to Will Jacks, under a little bit of pressure, you can see that overcompensation. So he went too full on the first occasion, and this time dropping too short, and both times went for the maximum.
Jacks again. Pressure on Will Jacks as he's in now, a little bit quicker, chased outside the off stump. There won't be a run there. He's annoyed, Rutherford. He knows he might have been able to leave that and it would have been wide, but instead a dot ball. 13 from the over so far, so we're not going to see 4 6s in a row from a West Indies batter against England in a World Cup in India. Heaven forbid, Carlos. 96 for 4. Will Jacks in, and that strikes the pads and will be a leg by as Butler fields. Moving to his right, so 13 from the over. Jacks has bowled 2 overs, none for 32. That might be his work done with the ball tonight, I sense.
I don't think the West Indian fans would hope so, but most of the England fans and Harry Brook, I think, would tell him to pull the sweater. That's it for a day's work. Talking about 4 6s, I thought we were about to see 4 6s in a row today.
Whoa, what a game!
Super over.
Wasn't it good? And as one New Zealand cricket fan replied to me on social media, 2 super overs. Who would have thought it?
Is it possible?
Is it possible in an ICC event? Is it now? Oh, great.
Only in the preliminaries, surely not in the finals. No,
we could have kept going all night, and I was well up for it. I was saying earlier, I was wandering around Crawford Market, a historic market in Mumbai, while that game was going on, and behind every counter, everybody had a little TV on watching the game. It's so, because as you wander around, it was much well before this was all happening, but you could sort of follow the game. It was quite good fun. I think it's a service that we need across all shopping precincts. So if there's a live game on, everywhere has to have it on.
Get it on, stick it on.
Right, we're going to see Jofra Archer from the far end of the ground. He has bowled 2 overs so far, 1 for 16. Got the wicket of Shea Hope without scoring in the first over. And he runs in now towards us, full delivery, dug out towards mid-off. There's a risky run, throw comes in, misses at the non-striker's end. Bethel backs up.
I'm wondering if this pitch is or has the same characteristics as the one that England played against Nepal. One of the things that make me question that is the field. Normally you see fine leg in the circle for seamers, deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, deep long on, but mid-wicket is actually in the circle and fine leg back, and normally that say is there's a little bit more pace, and if I were to go short, it's more likely to be a top edge or a swivel behind square as opposed to leaning into the ball and slapping it in front over mid-wicket. So it definitely is something to watch. Obviously Hetmeyer lost his wicket with a cutter into the deck, but the pace looks very, very true.
Here's Archer, and smacked away over the offside. 4 runs, 1 bounce, and smashing into the boundary fence. Rovman Powell, a softly spoken man, but a powerful, dangerous batter. 102 for 4.
No, I think this World Cup, I'm not going to put the markers on him, but I think this World Cup is one where Rovman Powell has to stand tall. He's almost come into this World Cup and no one has mentioned him. He is one of the best batters in the team, and he's gone under the radar a bit.
Archer once more. On this occasion, Powell just dropped the ball into the onside. 1 run taken, 6 from the over so far. This partnership's now worth 26 from 18. West Indies run rate's 8.2. There's often talk about doubling a score from the 12 over mark. There's a little bit of a guide. I think they'd take anything around 200.
Love that. Absolutely love that. And I tell you what, West Indies need it. If the pitch is as good as we're just talking about, the power that England has.
Archer tosses the ball from one hand to the other under the floodlights of Mumbai, comes running in once more. And a top edge will go sailing towards the fielder. Rashid, he might have done brilliantly to save the boundary there. He got airborne, and they'll have a little look at this, but it was spectacular from a man who, when he started his career, bits of fielding like that would have seemed implausible, nigh on impossible. But he got a lot of elevation, and he's got no idea whether it's going to be a boundary or not. They'll have a little look, but never a chance of a catch. Look at that. Super rash in the air, and he saved it. Oh no, he's dropped it just onto the ropes. It will be 6.
And I tell you what, there'll be some fielders that you'll be thinking, come on mate, like, get that back in. But Rash is like, good on you mate. Like,
I know.
What an effort.
He's unlucky there because he pushed it back. It's just kissed that sponge as it's gone back into play. So it will be 6. And the crowd get that information and give it the requisite cheer. So 12 from the over, 2 balls left of it. And things are just beginning to pick up pace. 49 runs have been scored from the last 30 balls. Archer again to bowl to Rutherford, who's on 29. It's defended into the offside, 1 taken.
I tell you what, Henry, I think it might seem very, very small in the context of the game, but I've loved Harry Brooks' captaincy from the summer, and I actually spoke to him about it, about how positive he is. It was so easy to let that 1 over dwindle and go deeper and deeper into the game. He took Adil Rashid out of the attack straight away, brought on Liam Dawson, almost seeing how attacking will Rutherford be. He's just to the crease. He was able to slide Liam Dawson in back-to-back overs, and then he thought, you know what, let me get rid of that extra over. Instead of going Dawson 3 in a row, I'll give Will Jacks 1. Now that quarter of 4 is done, and they can get on with the other main bowlers.
Archer to finish the over, full delivery, whip round the corner for 4. Straying onto the pads and helped on its way by Rovman Powell. And an expensive over, 17, comes to an end, and Archer's gone 1 for 33 after an expensive night. Has he bowled badly, Carlos? Has he been unlucky?
I think he liked to take back the 5 wides, but I was talking to Owen Morgan downstairs and asking him, how do you manage someone like a Jofra Archer with the ball, someone like a Shimron Hetmeyer with the bat, like those maverick type figures? And he was saying just bring him back when the main batter is in. So I think you bring him back and you ask him, can you get me a wicket? And we're trying to get you a wicket. You may go for runs, and you need to give him that blanket, that safety blanket that we're not worried if you go for runs. Obviously we love 3 wickets in the over for Zilch, but your job is to break this partnership, because if these 2 guys get away and back to the 18th over, one of them could be very, very close to 80, 90 or 100. So his job right there and then was to get a wicket, and that's what he did. He tried, but he failed.
Well, Liam Dawson does come back into the attack, looking to add some control after a little flurry of runs for West Indies. Left-handed Rutherford waits for the left-arm spin of Dawson, who's going to come round the wicket. We've got 3 fielders on the leg side in front of Very full stands now here at the Wankhede Stadium. This is outside the off stump and chopped away past the fielders at short third and backward. Point for 4. So that momentum continues. 118 for 4 now, early on in the 14th.
Henry, this may be the most important over in the innings, because Liam Dawson is someone that could get Rutherford, get back-to-back scalps in the over and break all this momentum. And if Rutherford gets a hold of him and gets 15, 17 in the over, you feel as though the tide is shifting and West Indies further in front.
Here is Dawson. Oh, it's speared down the leg side for wide. And another run and another ball required. Do you think they're on top at the moment, West Indies, in terms of the game?
Yeah, I think they've peaked the head forward, and you may look at the 4 wickets down and think probably a little short, but if Gudakesh Moti's batting at 11, you got batting all the way down. He may only be required to bat 3-4 balls.
Dawson, a little bit quicker, beats the outside edge of the bat. That's well bowled from Dawson. That'll be a dot. 119 for 4 it remains.
So clever, so clever, and he'd be loving this challenge.
Dawson again, standing almost exactly behind the umpire. He's now going to emerge into the eye line of the batter, who's hitting down the ground. There's a nice connection. It's 6. Oh, trouble for England here. Rutherford gets a clean piece of it down the ground. And as Harry Brook chews his gum and blows a bubble, he knows he's got some thinking to do, some plans to come up with, and some senior figures to consult at some stage quite soon, because this partnership now is worth 48 off 25 balls, and it feels like it's only picking up pace. Next delivery is wide, outside the off stump.
Yeah, running scared. It is smart. Take it out of his hitting arc. He's bowling around the wicket as well, so he has the angle and the width. And they have a field employed with 3 points and an extra cover deep. This is the over.
Well, you did call it, Carlos. 12 from it already. 3 balls remain. Chasing a wide delivery. He's annoyed with himself because he just angles it off the face of the bat to Adil Rashid, and it might have been wide if he'd left it alone, so it's a dot ball.
But it's interesting how field positioning gets into the mind of the batter, because it felt as though if he only had 2 points and the man on sweeper, he'd probably try to cut that ball a little harder. But because he knows it's 3 points and he just need to pick one of those 3 gaps between the keeper and the first man or the other 2, he's just trying to get a bat on it, and eventually just got a naughty little toe edge.
A naughty little toe edge?
I don't know where that came from.
I liked it. It was the naughtiest of little toe edges. Dawson bowling, driven down the ground for 1. Overton will move to his right to field, so wide, a dot and a 1 after that 6. Now can Dawson get out of the over? 6 to come after this. It's 127 for 4, and there's the 50 partnership. 50 off 28 balls.
When it comes to maturity and batsmanship in West Indies, that single, I just breathe the biggest sigh of relief, because that's the level of maturity that Rutherford showed in 24 World Cup, where it is my matchup. I've taken him down for a few already. Do I go again, or do I just respect the fact that it's a good ball, and instead of batting a dot, get off strike, live to fight another day?
Dawson to bowl to Rovman Powell in the baseball cap. Round the wicket he comes. That's dug in a little short. There won't be a run there. It was quicker, it was flatter, and it's pushed towards England's captain Harry Brook at cover, and drinks will be taken. 14 overs gone. A little reminder of what we've seen today. We briefly mentioned it, but the most thrilling game between South Africa and Afghanistan earlier on, which saw ultimately South Africa win it, but 2 super overs were required, with scores tied at 187 apiece after the 20. Then we saw the highest drama of Super Over 1 being 17 apiece, and then Super Over 2 looked like it was done when South Africa hit 23, and then there was a dot and a wicket from the first 2 balls before Gurbaz stepped out, hit 3 sixes, then there was a wide, and then Maharaj managed to get one right in the block hole, and he could do nothing, Gurbaz, when he would have known that 4 would have taken us to a 3rd super over. In the end, though, they get over the line to do South Africa in that one, and Australia comprehensive winners in their tournament opener against Ireland, winning by 67 runs, rather worryingly for Ireland. Paul Sterling injured here in Mumbai at the Wankhede Stadium. West Indies are 127 for 4, having been asked to bat first by England, and what we are seeing is a good partnership, 50 off 29. And here's the there you go, you mentioned Chris Gale's innings, his 100 here 10 years ago. Well, we're seeing replays of that. We're also seeing on the outfield, you know, sometimes when the rope is dragged round, it goes at quite a pace with the sort of drag between two cars. There's two blokes in yellow t-shirts out for a Sunday stroll, and they're only going to cover about 20 yards during this drinks break.
That speaks or reeks. Let me just tick this box so I can be paid. I'm supposed to roll the ropes over the ground, so I'll do that, but there probably is no due.
So far tonight, interestingly, this surface has provided 2.8 degrees of spin, more than any other game of the World Cup. So not only are we getting some zip, but we're also getting some grip and zip.
Yeah,
it's
been a good cricket wicket. I think 127 for 4 and 14 speaks to that as well. So you've got some wickets where you've got striking at a run rate of in excess of 9. And you just think these two now, 41 for Rutherford, 14 for Powell. They've batted 37 balls between them. England need a wicket.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Earlier, I know, but win probability at the moment has now drifted quite significantly in favour of West Indies. 127 for 4. We're going to see Rashid back into the attack for the 15th over. He's bowled 2 overs, 1 for 8 so far. He's bowled really nicely. Tough night the other night, but he's been outstanding. And Rutherford in the mood. Will that little break just potentially cause a break in concentration? That's what England will be hoping. As Rashid at the far end of the ground waits to be told he can get on with it by Donovan Cock, the umpire. Inevitably there's just a little delay as we wait for all broadcasts to join us, and now we can go. Rashid moving in to bowl to Rutherford, who is angling the ball towards short third. Archer will field, and there's just the one taken. So 128 for 4. What's a par score, do you think?
Oh, I think West Indies need in excess of 200.
Do you?
Yeah, 100%. More because of the ground one, but also the lack of faith in their bowling stocks, especially the death bowling. So they'll feel like if England need 50 off the last 3 overs, they're still in with a shout. There's not much confidence where the death bowling is concerned for the West Indies.
Rashid tosses it up, and it's gone a mile up in the air. Can a fielder get round? There is a fielder underneath it, and the safe hands of Jamie Overton sees the end of this dangerous partnership. Rovman Powell goes for 14. Adil Rashid gets his second of the night, and as it went sailing high out towards Marine Drive, there was one pair of hands England wanted underneath it. The great big bucket hands of Jamie Overton, who doesn't drop many, and he settles himself and takes the catch in the deep. 128 for 5. Powell goes for 14.
From the time he hit it, he knew. Head down, hoping against hope that Jamie Overton would drop it. I don't think there are many people in this stadium that thought he would. That is a massive, massive wicket. Just before Rovman Powell really got going. It also means that now Adil Rashid, almost halfway into his 3rd over, has 10 balls to bowl to Jason Holder and the remainder of the lower order, which could halt and stimulate any momentum possible. We've seen in the past West Indies employ Akil Hussain to come in and get through the wrist spin. We're happy to see Jason Holder being tasked with going up there and fronting up to the wrist spin. He has a double 100 in Test cricket. Can't play a spin. Can he get off strike at least? Get a couple singles, give Rutherford the strike, and let him attack Adil Rashid.
Can't play spin. There's faith from a mate. There you go.
No, he can play spin.
Oh, he can play spin.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I thought you said he can't play spin. So I thought it seemed a bit harsh. He walks out and he just can't do it. He's a very capable player. And if ever the phrase long levers was invented for someone, it is the quite hulking frame of Jason Holder. There's a slip in place. In comes Rashid now. And he just doesn't pick that one. The conventional leg break, which turns past the groping edge of Holder's bat. And he comes down and has a little look at the surface, a prod and a poke with a bat that looks like a matchstick. I tell you, that trophy looked pretty small in your hands as you walked out earlier.
It was a beautiful thing, isn't it? Oh.
In comes Rashid, a bit quicker this time, chopped away towards backward point. What a good over this has been. 1 run, 2 dots, a wicket, and 2 balls left of it.
But again, Harry Brook, look at how close point was just now. Giving absolutely nothing away. Slipping as soon as your new batter comes in. Almost always on the attack.
Here's Rashid, and inside half of the bat from Holder. We'll see a single taken into the onside. Phil Salt, with shirt untucked, will jog in from the boundary. More fans arrive down below us. Gentleman who is carrying more bags of crisps than Gary Lineker's flogged over the years down below us. I mean, he's trying to sell them to the front row. Not having any of it. He's got a great big blue box filled to the brim. Bit of popcorn in there perhaps. Here comes Rashid, and forward just pushing the ball, showing it great respect is Rutherford, and brilliant over that, has to be said. 3 from it, that's all. And West Indies are 130 for 5. Rashid, who's bowled 3 overs, 2 for 11, takes his cap for the umpire and has had a brilliant night so far. Bowlers know it can all come undone in space of 1 over, but so far so good. 130 for 5. Prakash Wakankar is standing by. Carlos is going to offer his thoughts as to the significance of what we've seen over the last 6 balls.
Well, a little less about the last 6 balls, a little bit more about the vendor. Think back to one of the guys in Barbados at Kensington Oval who'd come around and say last two fish cakes, as he walks around with a big bowl of brown bags containing 2 fish cakes a pop, and he'd always say last two. So I'm not sure what's his little thing, but he didn't get any sales the first time he walked past. We wish him luck on the go around.
Here's Overton with a fresh over in balls, and this one's taken the top edge, flying straight behind the wicket keeper. Might have just dropped inside the boundary. It's 4 runs nevertheless, but certainly not where Rutherford wanted it to go. He'll take it. 134 for 5 in the 16th. That's where we are. Standing alongside Carlos Brathwaite makes me very conscious of how vertically challenged I am. Here's Overton in, and this one's he's got hold of, and this one's going back up into the second tier. Is it just short but deep into the crowd? So 4 and 6 of the first 2 balls, and that's his 50. Rutherford raises his bat to his dugout and then looks up at the skies with a grateful expression. 140 for 5. That was a terrific shot.
Yeah, outstanding shot. Just dug in by Overton, but he runs his fingers over the ball, but Rutherford just waits for it expertly and hammers it flat, hard over deep backwards square legs head. The West Indies, after a small setback, Rutherford steadying them.
Overton in again, bowls nice and full, driven on the onside, not with any great power, but comfortable single along the ground. So mixing sensible cricket with the powerful strokes when the ball's available. 141 for 5 now, the run rate just nipping over 9. You do feel, however, that with the challenges that are evident in this West Indies bowling attack, that they'll want to get a lot more than par, just to try and give their bowlers a little bit of cushion. England, on the other hand, would want to just make sure that they keep this well under control. What do you reckon, Finney? 180-ish?
I think England will be happy to chase 180. It looks to me to be a really good pitch.
Here's Overton in now to Holder, and Holder's pulled the first one powerfully. Is this going to be cut off? It will be. Smartly fielded by Bethel, moving around to his left on the boundary, and the single is all that they're going to get. So Jason Holder's off the mark. Oh, in fact, a second run for him. So 142 for 5.
Yeah, 180 I think is the number for England to try and keep the West Indies to. 38 runs in just over 4 overs. And the West Indies will be looking to try and push, if they can, a couple of big overs to push up towards 200. Small boundaries to see how quick the outfield is. And the fact that it does look like a good pitch. Rashid did get the ball to turn slightly, but he's a wrist spinner. He gets loads of revs on the ball.
Here's Overton in again now, 2 Rutherford bowls, and he's beaten outside the off stump, looking to play that, what's become almost a favourite shot of his in this innings, the little dab. He places it very well. He's got 2 or 3 boundaries through that area, but this time didn't make any contact. Goes through to Butler. 142 for 5. The last ball of the 16th coming up. So after this, 24 balls to come. 142 on the board, 5 wickets in hand. West Indies, as Finney says, would be aiming for 200. England would like to try and make sure they keep it within that 180, 185 kind of range. But all that to come in the next few overs. Overton in bowls, nice and full again, fielded off his own bowling smartly. Dot ball, 142 for 5, 16 overs are bowled. Holder on 2, Rutherford on a well-made 54.
It has been a very well-made 54, hasn't it? It came in with him in a bit of trouble. Seen off a couple of partners, but is there, and he really holds the key, I think, here. It's fair to say Romario Shepherd can bat, then we're into the bowlers after that. But certainly Rutherford here with this platform and this base, 54 from 32, and finding the middle of the bat regularly gives him the best opportunity to put England to the sword here. Interesting what Harry Brook is going to do. Adil Rashid has 1 over to go, I believe.
Adil has 1, Dawson has 1, Overton has 1, Jacks is 2, unlikely to bowl. I think Curran has 2 and Archer has 1. So options available.
Yeah, so we're getting Curran here, who I think Brook will be hoping can get Rutherford out to remove the left-hander from the situation, and then Rashid will be able to bowl his leg breaks, and Dawson will be able to bowl to the right-handers.
Archer's been expensive, 11 overs of his 3. Jacks, of course, after that first over went for 19, was always going to be under pressure, 32 of his. The other England bowlers have kept things reasonably tight. Here's Sam Curran from the far end into bowl to the tall figure of Jason Holder. Bowls, and Holder comes down and flashes outside the off stump, nowhere near the ball. He'd made up his mind to go straight down and move away, made some room. Ball left him further, and there was no chance that even he was going to make contact.
Yeah, it kind of looks like his bat's just too small for him. He would have to have a specially made bat in length, because I'd imagine he's using a long blade at least. He's just such a big man.
He is a seriously tall man. And this time he connects with ease and with elan as he lofts it over long off. And such beautiful timing that it just sails over. Didn't seem like anything more than a gentle push, but with the face of the bat pointing skywards, and it went way over the rope safely with mid-off inside the circle. Very little risk. Holds his pose, does Jason Holder. Admiring his shot, why not? 148 for 5.
That's such a good shot. It's so nonchalant the way he just drops his hands through the ball, carries all the way for 6 over mid-off. No change in the field though.
As Curran in bustling run-up, comes in bold shot, he's pulled it in the air. Man good running around from the other side, will not get anywhere near. So back-to-back 6s by the tall Jason Holder. Fist punch to his partner Rutherford, and West Indies get past 150 now. 154 for 5 in the 17th. Sam Curran getting a little bit of tap.
Yeah, like a baseball shot, this one. Jason Holder banged in by Curran, pace on, and for a moment everyone's looking up. Is this ball going to carry over Jamie Overton's head at long on? And it does, quite easily by 10 yards or so in the end. But because Curran isn't super quick, Holder was able to adjust to that line and length and baseball bat it back over the bowler's head. The 150's up for the West Indies. 3.5 overs to go, and that 180 is looking very much in touch, and anything beyond that will be a bonus for them here.
Long conversation with his skipper for Sam Curran, and Harry Brooks dropped back to the long off boundary. So long on, long off, deep extra, and a man deep backward of point on the offside. The deep mid wicket to go along with that, and then on the onside, shot backward inside the ring just to the right of the square leg umpire. And short fine and short third in place as well. Curran bowls and is carved, but down towards the fielder on the fence there. Comfortably fielded. A single will accrue. 155 for 5 now. And this partnership's worth 27 of 14 from a West Indian point of view, just what the doctor ordered. Get a bit of impetus into this latter part of the innings.
And that's the West Indies are so dangerous because they have guys who can hit sixes all the way down. Romario Shepherd coming next can mash them over the rope easily. He's such a big human as well. So they are always dangerous, the West Indies. Even when they lose early wickets, you have to continue to have that intent to take their wickets all the way down the order. That's how you stop the flow of runs.
I think Will Jacks was getting a bit of a run around. He went all the way back to the boundary and back into this circle. 3 men on the offside inside the ring, and Rashid at short backward square. Curran in, bowls to Rutherford. Rutherford drives, not able to get underneath it, and he'll get just a single, and Overton fields off the long off boundary. 1 more to the total. 156 now for 5.
And people listening are probably going, Finn, you idiot, of course you want to try and take a wicket every single ball, and you do, but your mentality as a bowler is so different when you're thinking about taking wickets as opposed to thinking defensive and how you restrict the runs. There are clearly times to do that, much like when Sam Curran was trying to defend 10 runs off the final over the other night. But even in this situation here, 3.1 overs to go, the West Indies 5 down. If you do take 2 wickets here, you're into the bowlers, you can defend an end, and it really affects how many runs can be scored in those last few overs.
Curran round the wicket now, into Holder, bowls, and Holder's smacked this through mid-wicket. As he got distance, he has 6 more. So 3 sixes for Jason Holder, who's gone to 21 of 9, and his expression doesn't change, does it, Finn? It looks like just another day. He's got the ball, hit it away, and he's got 3 sixes. 162 for 5, 17 completed, 18 balls to come, and as you said, the 180 very much on the cards. How much more is the question?
Well, it looks like they'll get a few more now, and we said the danger of the West Indies being able to hit sixes, 20 from that over, 3 sixes in there, and just 3 overs to go now. England want to be on their guard. Can they break this partnership? Who's Harry Brook going to ask to do that? Adil Rashid.
Right, Rashid for his final over. He's bowled brilliantly. 3 overs, 2 wickets for 11. Complete turnaround for him, and that's what champions do. One bad day at the office doesn't define them, and he's come back so strongly here with a brilliant bowling performance. Can he provide the breakthrough now for England? He's in, he bowls to Rutherford, who flicks it away off his pads. Nicely timed. He'll get a single down to deep mid-wicket and bring the right-handed Holder on strike.
And this is interesting now. How will Rashid look to bowl to Holder, who's clearly motoring? He's been excellent. Will he give it flight and try and get it to spin away from the right-hander, invite the big slog across the line? Or is he going to bowl it out the front of his hand, quick into the pitch, and challenge Holder to hit off the back foot? That would be my preference if I were the captain, but Rashid holds the cards.
Let's go back to the top of his run. Just a graphic coming up showing degrees of turn. The leg break 6.8 degrees, and the wrong on 4.2 is Rashid bowls, and Holder has a swing and a miss. Just slower. And 87 kilometers that ball, spinning away from the right-handed Holder. Between overs 15 and 17, the West Indies have gone almost 12 and over. Tossed up again, and once again has a swing and a miss. That doesn't look very pretty, does it, Finney?
That's like on Brian Lara cricket. You could bowl the balls that they were like big moon balls, but you'd have to stop the power almost as early as it started, and that delivery from Rashid was that.
There he is again, bowls, once again floats it up, he comes down the wicket. This could be, in fact, nothing dramatic happens, just a single. I don't think he got hold of it, and for a moment I thought it might carry to the big figure of Overton, who was running away to his right. It might carry to him. It didn't. A single, but it's been a fantastic over. Just 2 runs of the first 4 balls, and now the left-handed Rutherford on strike. Deep extra, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, and a man deep backward to square. The 5 boundary riders. Rashid bowls, and he's gone up. This one's gone up in the air. Rashid's going after it. He settles. Oh, he got both hands to it, and then it went down. And now the shy at the non-striker's end. The ricochet off the stumps will allow a single. So it's all happening here. Big hit by Rutherford, top edge, nobody close in the circle. Rashid went for it, he settled under it. One thought he had it, had both hands on it, and then it slipped out. He fell. There was a run attempted. He had a shy at the non-strikers end. Batter got back in, the ricochet allowing the second run. So in the end, 2 runs to the West Indies, what could have easily been an important wicket.
That's a really good piece of bowling. Googly starting on leg stump, so Rutherford opts to try and play the slog sweep towards the leg side, and Rashid, it looked for a second that he was really settled under it, and then at the last minute
Rashid in again bowls, and Rutherford eases it into the extra cover area. He'll pick up 1, and that'll be the end of a very good over and the end of the spell as well from Adil Rashid. He dearly would have liked to see the wicket of Rutherford. Wasn't to be. He completes his 4 overs, 2 wickets for 16. Outstanding bowling given what we've seen, with a run rate of 9.28 at the end of 18 overs. West Indies 167 for 5.
Well, he and England would have loved a 3 on the beginning of that analysis. It's been outstanding by Adil Rashid today. I think he's mastered the timings of his deliveries. He showed all the skills the other night, but he maybe didn't get the timings of those deliveries right. Today he's bowled the right ball for the right situation absolutely every time, and it's just, will that drop catch cost England here, even though he's had a brilliant night? Dropping Rutherford with 2 overs to go when he's on 50 odd could prove costly.
Yeah, Rashid feeling just in front and below us, and you can see that there's a little bit of dejection on his face. He thought he had this man, and it would have indeed been a very big wicket in the context of where we are, but that's now passed. Archer has the ball in his hand at the far end, and it's going to be Rutherford on strike. He's on 59 of 36, striking at a little over 163, and Holder, of course, 22 of 12, having missed 2 big swipes but having hit 3 sixes. Here's Archer into the left-handed Rutherford. Rutherford drives, 1-2 bounces to Harry Brook on the long on boundary, and that'll bring Holder back on strike. Now Archer versus Holder, this will be interesting.
Yeah, will Jofra go for the Yorkers? That was a pace on Yorker from Jofra Archer, cramping Rutherford for room. Will he do the same to Holder here? The knuckleball could be effective in this situation. Holder's naturally going to try and hit every ball for 6.
Holder's pointing to someone near the side screen to settle down, not move. I think it's one of the cameramen. And Archer now coming over the wicket to the former West Indian skipper. 3 men in the ring on the offside, 1 on the off. 5 men riding the boundary, as you'd expect at this stage. Archer is in, bowls to Holder. Holder carves it away. And for a moment I lost it. Desperate dive at backward point is not good enough. Great effort, but the result is Holder's merry scoring continues. He goes up to 26 and the Windies up to 172 for 5. Brilliant effort by Bethel there, diving to his left as he ran across but couldn't stop it.
Yeah, excellent effort by Bethel, but a brilliant shot by Jason Holder there. A full toss, only just missing his Yorker by 6 inches or so, but snapping down on the ball, it races it through deep point.
Margin for error so little. Once again looking for the Yorker, almost nailing it too, but Holder's able to get it down towards long on, and they'll get 1. Looks at the toe of his bat, 173 for 5.
Yeah, that's a bat breaker. So you don't want to be having your number 1 in your hand when it hits the toe of it like that. A cursory glance by Holder straight away just to check that there's no crack. Players are so protective of their number 1 batters.
173 for 5, and this partnership 45 coming off just 25 runs, 25 balls, I beg your pardon, 45 of 25, and now Rutherford with 3 balls to come in this over. Archer steams in, bowls, and Rutherford's launched this could go to hand, or will it carry? Oh, another one of those real teasers. Bethel was underneath it, he waited for it, timed his jump to try and catch or at least push the ball back. Unfortunately for him, neither happened, because it had just enough legs to go over and get 6 runs for the West Indies and for Rutherford.
Just hung in the air forever, didn't it? Jacob
did.
Bethel was so interested in an attempt to try and jump back over the rope and then scoop it back in. He doesn't manage to get two hands on it, probably 2 yards over the rope there. That drop by Rashid looking costly still.
There's Archer in now to Rutherford again, bowls, and Rutherford pushes on the offside. He'll get probably one, maybe come back for the second, will he? Yes, Holder only needs about 3 or 4 steps, I think, to get across, and they complete the second run. So the West Indies now cross 180. They're 181 for 5 with 7 legal deliveries to come.
Well, I took a good photo of you, Prakash, with our friend Carlos just now. You look like his son.
The long and short of it.
That is the long and short of it. You come up to his rib cage.
I've had a few of those. I had once one with Sir Curtly Ambrose.
Yes.
And that was even funnier. I'm just so glad that I never got to play cricket at a level where I had to see one of these guys coming back at me with a ball in hand.
You'd have been tough to bowl at, Prakash. You'd have hit a lot square of the wicket. Good cutter, good pull-up.
We shall stay away from that conversation. Archer, last ball of the over, into Rutherford. He's in, he bowls, and Rutherford eases it into the covers. They'll take a run. This could be out if he hits. No. The shy at the non-striker's end. Rutherford was a little bit leaden-footed as he ran. And in any event, the throw from Curran didn't hit the stumps. So end of the 19th over, the Windies find themselves at 182 for 5. The run rate 9.58. 6 to come.
Yeah, they've reached that 180 mark with 1 over to go. And Jofra Archer's bowled out. So, and it's not going to be Sam Curran, surprisingly. Sam Curran has bowled 3 overs for 36, and he closed out the game the other day, expertly bowled those 6 Yorkers to win the game against Nepal. It's going to be Jamie Overton that's entrusted with this last over. So Harry Brook going on a gut call here as opposed to the evidence in the game before.
Yeah, but also on form in the game. I mean, Overton's just given 19 runs in his 3 overs. He's picked up 1 wicket, so he's been the bowler along with Adil Rashid, who's really kept the West Indies in check. Because if we look at those two, currently, of 7 overs, they've given away just 35 runs. Field well spread out for Rutherford. And here's Overton starting the final over in first ball. And it's driven. It will be cut off by Will Jacks, running away to his left. Single is all Rutherford will get. 183 for 5. Now, Jason Holder, who is on 27 of 14. 3 sixes and a boundary to his name.
Well, it's those 3 sixes that would have forced Brook to bowl Overton this over. And Brook would have felt as though Curran bowling to Holder again. Holder had the what would you say? He had the better of him, didn't he?
The wood over him.
I was going to say the wood over him, but then it just didn't feel right in my head. But yes, he certainly read everything that Curran was doing in that previous over. So Brook turning to Overton here.
So 2 men on the offside on the boundary, 3 on the on. Here's Overton. Where's he going to bowl? Looking for the Yorker. He's launched it. It is coming right next to us into the back of the lower tier. And Jason Holder's 6 hitting simply doesn't seem to stop. Brilliant shot again. He's up to 33. And the West Indies 189 for 5, giving this goodly crowd here, which has filled the stadium, their money's worth, at least for the first half of the game.
It's such a majestic shot. And he stands there, if he's just driven one 320 yards off the tee and admires it sail down the fairway. Such a beautiful swing of the bat.
There's Overton again. What does he do now? Bowls, and this is outside the off stump, and Holder doesn't make any contact. He's a little bit disappointed.
That's good from Overton, though. You want to take it out of Jason Holder's swinging arc. Anything that's angled back in towards him, it's just a simple step and hit. If you miss your length, if you're going wide, out towards the wide line, you're asking Holder, even with his reach that he has, it's really hard for him to generate that same power from that wide line.
3 balls to come. Overton into Holder. Bat raised. He waits. Overton bowls. Shot. He pulls. It doesn't get timing on it. It's going to be taken. It is taken by Tom Banton right below us here. And that marks the end of Jason Holder's fantastic cameo from a West Indies perspective. 33 of 17. He's walking back. 2 balls to come. 189 for 6 is the West Indies score at the moment.
That's where the extra pace of Overton, even though Holder has read the line and length, where he was able to adjust his swing of his bat and make sure the middle of the bat meets the ball to Sam Curran. The extra pace of Overton there just rushes Holder slightly, and it's more splicey. It's the reason he doesn't get it up and over Tom Banton's head at long on. A brilliant innings though, just the impetus that the West Indies needed at that stage of the game, striking at just under 200. Holder 33 from 17, but the West Indies with 2 deliveries to go, they could still make it to 200, but at the moment they've met in the middle between our predictions with what either team would be happy with. The West Indies 200 and England 180.
Romario Shepherd, 2 balls potentially for him to face. Here's Overton into Shepherd. Shepherd carves it. It's going to be caught, I think. Another lovely catch. At least it looks like that. Salt taking it. Whether he got it on the half volley or on the full, doesn't seem like Salt is claiming the catch. It certainly looked like that. Importantly, no run. Dot ball.
That's a funny one, isn't it?
I thought he got it clean, at least from the
same
distance.
And I thought Salt then put his finger up as if to say that is definitely out, but he's not celebrated and he's walked straight back to his fielding position. So you have to say that it must have been on the half volley. We're having a look on the TV screen now. Yeah, I think there's a bit of grass in there. You could have claimed that without as many TV cameras. Prakash, you'd have been tempted to claim that one, but Salt being very honest.
So single resulting 190 for 6, and the last ball coming up. What will Rutherford be able to do with it? What can Everton do? Overton, I beg your pardon. Here he is, bowls, and he's hit that firmly over mid-off. It's coming down below us for another 6 to end the innings, and the West Indies will finish on 196 for 6. And Sherfin Rutherford, 76 not out of 42, sets the tone along with a couple of other meaty contributions. The West Indies 196 for 6. England will chase 197 for their second victory.
Well, it's an excellent end to the innings for West Indies, and it was topsy-turvy. Both teams had their moments, both teams had their opportunity to run away with it, but neither really did. The West Indies, that finish there to get them up towards that 200 mark leaves them with the runs on the board, which is a positive in this situation. But England, they bat deep, they played Jamie Overton today, the tongue twister, in order to lengthen that batting. So England will come hard here. It's probably 15 or 20, I'd say 15 more than they'd like to be chasing in this situation, but I definitely think it's doable. This is still a very good pitch.
And of course the challenge now is for the West Indies to marshal their bowling resources. There's been a lot of talk around the fact that there's probably the 5th bowler is an issue for the West Indies. We'll wait and watch. England have the batting, and I will hand over to Henry Moran while Finney stays on.
Thank you very much indeed, Prakash. Beautifully described that blitz of runs at the end. 66 from the last 30 balls, and 197 will be England's target. Sherfin Rutherford 76 from 42. And thrilling cricket it really was, I have to say. We're going to get some reaction from the boundary edge. I think Adil Rashid is preparing to chat. He bowled quite beautifully. 4 overs 2 for 16. So Finney, you go and grab yourself some dinner, and we will reflect on an innings that saw 2 early wickets. King out for 1, Hope without scoring. Hetmeyer made a quick 23, Chase 34. Holder's 33 off 17 at the back end of the innings added some real impetus, but it was that 76 off 42 unbeaten from Rutherford that really did the damage. 13 fours, 13 sixes in the innings. It is a good surface, but some expensive figures in there. Archer 4 overs, 1 for 48. Curran 3 overs, 1 for 36. Jacks 2 overs, none for 32. But it was the efforts of Adil Rashid. 4 overs, 2 for 16. Overton's 2 for 33, and Dawson's none for 27 off 3 is what's taken us to this point. Here we go. Here's Adil Rashid.
Today, Adil Rashid bowling absolutely beautifully, getting so much purchase out there. What can you tell us about how the wicket was playing?
I thought the wicket was pretty good to get 197. But I think obviously it's got to depend now when we go out to bat, see how it plays then. But obviously you can't tell, like 197, will we take that beginning of the day? Probably would. We just got to see how it plays. I'm sure we're pretty confident that we could hopefully get these runs.
You know when Caddy tends to spin, but you were getting some real turnout there today. What was working for you? Pace off seemed to be the trick, but you tried a lot of variations tonight.
I think it's the same old, every day. Just come and try to do the same thing. Try to play the game that's in front of me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's T20 cricket. Thankfully for myself personally, it worked today, so hopefully I can carry that on.
A wealth of experience. You took 400 wickets and T20s in that innings today. How does that sit with you?
Obviously, it's nice. It's nice getting these little milestones, but obviously the ultimate aim is to win games of cricket. I think that's the ultimate aim. It's nice to get them, and hopefully, by me getting that today, hopefully we can win the game. It'll be even better.
You've got a sizable score to chase down today, but best of luck for the innings, and we'll see you at the end of the game.
No problem. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
Thoughts there of Adil Rashid chatting to Erin Holland on the boundary edge. So England will need to get 197 to make it 2 wins from 2. It's not a game they need to win, but certainly will make their path towards the Super 8s a little more relaxed, I suppose, with Scotland and Italy.
197 runs then required of 120 balls if England are to get their second win on the trot. And West Indies are out there in the middle, as indeed are the 2 England openers, Phil Salt, and along with him is Jos Buttler. Set up for a lovely evening of cricket here at the Wankhede Stadium under lights with, as we've said before, initially the crowd wasn't that much, but it's built up over the evening, and now it's looking, well, I'd say about 70% full, which is a lot of credit to the Mumbai cricket-loving fans who've come in for a neutral game. Mind you, I must say it's nothing like what it was when Nepal were here, but their strong army will be on view, I'm sure, tomorrow when Nepal play. For the moment, the West Indies have a task to try and contain. England have a target right in front of them. So it's a straightforward equation from that point of view. How the game will play, we will find out over the course of the next 20 overs. Slip in place already. And it's going to be Akil Hussain who will start. So West Indies looking to begin with spin. Keeper and skipper Shai Hope right up to the stumps. I think it's Roston Chase who's at slip. There's a sort of backward point, a cover, extra cover, mid-off. Long on in place right below us. There's a mid-wicket, a man deep on the mid-wicket boundary as well, and the man at shot fine, a shot backward. Right. Phil Salt, the man on strike. The umpire's just waiting for the clock to get to the right place. They're now, I think, satisfied. Salt having a look around the field. He is now ready, settles over his bat and waits for Akil Hussain to get the England innings underway. Here's the first ball. 2 steps and then a little jog into the crease, bowls, and he's lofted this one. And will he get 6 or 4 is the only question. 2 bounces into the long off boundary. So clear intention on display right from ball 1. Phil Salt just walked into it and put it comfortably over mid-off, and that's the first runs for England. 4 on the board off the very first delivery. No change in the field. They can't. Finney?
Well, Akil Hussain is described as the left-arm spin bowler, but that was a seam-up delivery, swinging back into the right-handed Salt. He read it, lashed it over his head.
There's Hussain in again, bowls. This one's on the pad, worked away on the onside. They could look for a second. They're not particularly keen. Hetmeyer does the fielding coming off the boundary, so 1 more to the total. 5 now without loss. Good steady start very early obviously in the innings, and now that'll be Jos Buttler to take first strike to Akil Hussain.
I think England are winning this. I think it looks like an excellent pitch. I think West Indies 4th and 5th bowlers are a little bit more unreliable than they'd like. So yeah, I'm backing an England win here.
Well done, Finney. We need decisive people.
Well, no, come back to me in 10 overs, I'll let you know.
Here's Akil Hussain. Yeah, well, I think Carlos mentioned that briefly during commentary. Here's Hussain into Buttler bowls, and Buttler waits for a slower ball. He's played with soft hands down towards backward point to the left of the fielder, and a single comfortably taken. 6 without loss.
Yeah, it's still a belter of a pitch. The way that those 6s were hit in the very last over off Jamie Overton, there was just nothing really in the pitch that was not allowing you to just throw your hands through the ball. Adil Rashid bowled really well, but that was him varying his pace, and the wrist spinner will naturally get more movement off of the pitch.
Well, he certainly got significant turn. I mean, that little graphic that I mentioned earlier, 6.8 degrees for his regular leg break.
But I'm not sure I saw any of the England finger spinners spin the ball.
Hussain to Salt. He's up, he bowls, and Salt is driving along the ground to Jason Holder, who comes off the 30-yard circle and fields. And the return comes in comfortably. 6 without loss. Crowd with an air of expectancy around them. They know they're going to see close to another 200 runs being scored one way or another, and they are looking forward, I think, to this run fest. But that's what the Wankhede is known for. Full of runs, relatively short boundaries, and today a really good strip. This one's whipped away by Salt, but won't beat Holder, who moves to his right a couple of paces and fields just below us at the wideish mid-on area. 6 without loss, 1 ball to come in the first over, chasing 197, remember, England, to pick up 2 more points. This is a very crucial game for both these sides in this group. There's Akhil Hussain in bowls and gets something on it. Wait for the umpire's signal, might be just bad. Single nevertheless to the total. Yes, leg by signal. So with that run, England go up to 6, now to 7 in this over, with 1 boundary, which was the first shot that Phil Salt played. And a very popular Bollywood number rings out on the PA system, and that draws a reaction from the crowd. It's one of those numbers from the mid-70s from a film that made great waves here. Has a terrific beat to it, Finnick.
Yeah, there's certainly some dancing in the crowd. Better than I could do, that's for sure.
Right, so now the man who provided that late impetus, as Stephen Finch has said, Jason Holder, now with the ball. When you've done what he's done with the bat, does that sort of give you that little bit extra with the ball?
Well, I wish I could give you first-hand experience of that, Prakash, but unfortunately I can't in a T20 international. But certainly you do see those great all-rounders and the ones who are able to influence all facets of the game. If they do something like that, it gives them a little bit more in the second innings as well.
Holder from the far end, in, bowls, and he's dispatched him equally nonchalantly as Holder did the England bowlers. Phil Salt gets one right where he wants it, and next to that special box at mid-wicket, it just goes about 7 or 8 rows back into the crowd, and Salt is making his intention, and his performance is backing it. Very clear. 13 without loss.
Well, that's exactly where Phil Salt wants you to bowl. Back of length, over the top of the stumps, not much pace, short boundary, relatively short boundary to the leg side. Just hammer it up over, such good timing.
Now, what does Holder do? He's in. Up he comes past the umpire, bowls, and this one's on the offside, cracked away. No chance for Hetmeyer. He timed it so beautifully, did Phil Salt, that he's raced to 15, and England well underway, 17 without loss in the second.
Yeah, and 6-4 off the first 2 balls lays a great platform here for Salt, and where some batters might look to get off strike, they'll think I've got 10. Salt doesn't have that mindset. He's going to keep going, keep motoring.
Holder goes back to the top of his bowling run. Turns thoughtfully. He's got to try and do something. He knows that early damage if Salt and Butler get going, anything is possible. Here's Holder in again, bowls, and this one's a good ball. It squares him up, but it gets enough of the bat to beat the 2 men inside the ring, and comes down to square third for yet another boundary. This is looking like a telephone number of the back in the 90s, 644. And England off to an absolute flyer. 21 without loss off just 9 balls.
Well, and as a bowler, you feel like you've done everything right there. Back of a length, bit of shape. It's not the length that Phil Salt can have a thrash at, so he looks to play a defensive push and a thick outside edge. Beats short third and goes for 4. It can have you at the back of your mark thinking, where's my luck?
There's Holder in again, bowls to Salt, looking for the Yorker. Does bowl a good ball, it won't beat mid-off, so a dot ball for Jason Holder. Talk about luck. Holder will be thinking, maybe I used up most of it when I was batting. Not that we can say he had lucky shots. He played some fantastic strokes. He's up to the back of his run now. It's fairly humid. No sign of dew, which is great from a balance in the game perspective. It's a bit early in the year for that, I think, as here's Holder in again now to Salt. He's in, he bowls, and Salt has launched this one over mid-wicket for yet another 6. 6-4-4-0-6. 20 runs already off this over, and 1 ball to come.
Yeah, Salt is savage in this situation. Holder's just looking to find that back of a length. Because of the height and the bounce that Holder gets, it has to be quite full in order to hit that splice of the bat for Phil Salt. So just a touch short. And with that extra bounce, Salt's just able to lift it up over deep mid-wicket. It's not even a really aggressive shot. It just times the ball.
Yeah, the one-dot ball was where he sort of nailed that ball at the base of the stumps almost. And this time cracked away through extra cover. What a terrific display of batting. If you thought you'd seen it all in the morning in the Afghanistan game, seen a bit more of it during the West Indian innings, Phil Salt is putting on a display here. 6-4-4-0-6-4, 24 runs off the over, and England at the end of 2 are 31 without loss.
That's just how dangerous this England batting lineup is. Salt is an expert, and he's had a brilliant record in the IPL with Royal Challengers Bangalore and Kolkata Knight Riders. He's won the IPL for the last 2 years, even though he's switched teams. And he really is devastating at this stage of the innings. Just those 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. And if you miss on a pitch like this, Phil Salt's going to get you, and he's certainly got Jason Holder there.
Well, 29 of 11. Jos Buttler's been a very happy, no doubt, non-striker, just watching his partner almost, as you use the word, savage.
Peppering the boundary.
Yes, but he's been savage with class and elan. There's been no hacks, there's been no ugly shots at all. There's Hussain now into his second over, bowls to Buttler, and Buttler looking to just push away on the offside, gets a thick inside part of the bat. Bowler Fields running across to his right. And this is where experience comes in, isn't it, Finney? Butler's not going to try and do anything to emulate. If the ball's there, he's going to hit it, but he's more than happy to play his own game. There's Akeal Hussain in again, bowls to Buttler, who goes back, looks to whip it through the onside, doesn't beat a sharp fielder at straightish mid-wicket.
But they'll also be aware that Hussain is the danger bowler here for the West Indies, bowling those left-arm in-drifters with the odd one that might spin away from the 2 right-handers, so they can afford, with the over that they've just had, to be a little bit more wary and watchful against him.
Hussain past the umpire, up he comes, bowls and reverse sweep, and he's got enough and more on it. How far is it going to go? 2 bounces into the boundary for 4 runs, so Butler's first boundary, and 35 now on the board, and we're still just in the middle of the 3rd over.
It's clever from Buttler as well. He's turned his feet round completely, so adept at playing that reverse sweep, and because of the 2 fielders outside the circle, or only 2 fielders outside, you can lift it up and over that backward point fielder, and it's always going to be 4. But the last 2 deliveries, looking to turn it across the line into the onside, he found himself in trouble, so feeling as though the reverse sweep is a much safer option, and proving so.
Hussain, no change in the field, mind you. Here's Hussain in, bowls to Buttler, and Buttler plays fine, gets something on it. Single accrues to the total. 37 now with that run, and that'll bring Salt on strike. At a stage when you're going the way Phil Salt is, the last thing you want is to keep him away from the strike, and Buttler able to get his partner back on.
Although I don't mind him being away from Akeal Hussain, to be honest.
You'd much rather have him
facing seam,
face
yeah.
up, yeah. 2 balls in this 3rd over to come. Akeal Hussain to bowl to Phil Salt. He's in, he bowls, and Salt, oh, that ball came back at him, inside part of the bat, and a bit of a wayward throw, but Buttler had overrun at the striker's end. So, bit of a question asked that Phil Salt may not have had the ideal answer for, but a run nevertheless. 37 without loss.
I'm glad that I ran out of time to eat my dinner in between innings, Pratt, because my nose is running. It's so spicy.
Is it really?
Yeah. So if you can hear me sniffling on the radio, I apologise. It's just the heat of this curry has got me.
Yeah, try when you do get a chance. I don't know when you will, but a little later, try the yellow dal and the white rice bread. That should much safer. This one's played back along the track. Good over in the context of the game from a West Indies point of view by Hussain. His 2 overs have cost 12, and the West Indies at the England, I beg your pardon, at the end of 3 overs are 37 without loss. Yeah, it looks a bit on the spicy side.
Yeah, there's green chilies in there, definitely.
Couldn't tell you how spicy because I don't eat that. Eat meat, I mean. 37 without loss. Salt is 30, Buttler is 6, is 1 extra, and now 160 runs of 102 balls is the equation. Understandably, change of bowling at the far end. After that 20-run over, it was very unlikely that Jason Holder was going to get the ball again.
I don't think he'd have wanted the ball again, to be honest. When you go for 24 and the skipper throws you for another one immediately after in the power play, you're kind of thinking, I'm not sure that's the right option. But Salt will be no less savage here to Romario Shepherd.
Yes, well, Romario Shepherd certainly has had a good outing in the first game.
Our producer's just giving me tissues. It must be obvious.
Shepherd bowls and he's... where's he gone? Oh, we were all looking out of the stand over square leg. As it turns out, it made no contact with the ball, just dropped right in front of him, and Romario Shepherd walked across and picked it up. So dot balls have been a rarity. From memory, I think about 4 or 5 dot balls out of the 19 bowled so far. And Shepherd at least starts off with a dot ball. Phil Salt will want to correct that very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men in the ring on the offside. Shepherd's in, bowls and down the leg side, called wide as it should be. 133 clicks. From the days of the super quick, awesome battery of fast bowlers, the West Indies, at least on this game, don't seem to have in recent times produced that kind of pace in their quick bowling.
Yeah, well, sorry, Joseph could bowl very quick, couldn't he? Or does bowl very quick.
He
doesn't seem to be involved. I'm not sure if he's injured or...
Wonder. I think I might have read something about an injury. Here's Romario Shepherd in again, bowls, and this time Salt moves. This one's gone up in the air, caught at mid-off. So Phil Salt couldn't hold back his urge, but that, as you said, Finney, is the way he plays. You live by the sword, you die by it, they say. He created some space, wanted to go over the offside. The ball got a little big on him, I thought, hitting him in the splice area of the bat and ballooning up for a rather simple catch, just wide of mid-off.
Shepherd's held his nerve there, Salt sprinting down the pitch. But the angle of Shepherd, he missed leg side and it was a wide the previous delivery, but everything's been angled back into Phil Salt, and Salt trying to open up that offside where all the fielders are up inside the ring, the 2 out with deep mid-wicket and deep backwards square leg, can only splice a ball that cuts back and it loops towards mid-off, and Rutherford takes a really simple catch. It's a nice explosive start by Phil Salt, but he'll be disappointed. He's not made the most of that, and he'll be disappointed that he didn't stay in his crease and try and flip that to the leg side as opposed to hit against the shape of the delivery into the off.
That's the nature of the game, isn't it? When they come off, they look absolutely stunning. And it may well have a couple of inches, as we've said all through today, since that first game in the morning that we keep referring to. And if you haven't had a chance to look at it, please go find it wherever you can, including the various outlets on which you can, on the BBC or the ABC, or wherever else you do. But it was an absolutely remarkable game of cricket, and we've talked about inches, whether it is missing a Yorker, whether it's a no ball, whether it's a wide, whether it hits the bat 2 inches further up or 2 inches further down can make a difference. The West Indies will breathe, at least momentarily, a little bit easier, as Jacob Bethel, fresh off a lovely knock in that victory over Nepal. The left-handed Jacob Bethel settles over his bat and waits for Romario. Slip in place. Here is Shepherd bowls, and this one's a bit of a misfield. Awkward bounce, I should say, as well. But you'd expect at this level these to be stopped. One more run. A bit of a bonus, I'd say. 39 for 1, and Bethel's off the mark as well.
Well, you want your fielder to rugby tackle that one. If you can't stop it with your hands, just smother it with your chest or something. But the fielder opting not to do that. Maybe teeth flashing in front of his eyes and thinking, I don't fancy a trip to the dentist.
It might well have been him. The DJ has gone into full mode here. Not drawing the kind of response you would have expected from the crowd, really. But 3 more balls to come in this over, given that there was a second ball wide. 39 for 1, and Butler now first strike against Shepherd bowls. Inside edge of the bat, goes away towards the square leg mid-wicket region. They'll take 1, but that wasn't a very confident looking stroke. He's looking to play straight back along the track. The ball taking the inside edge and squirting away towards square leg. 6 wickets to Romario Shepherd. Ngidi, of course, almost right on top 7, but it's San Shalquick of the USA who is the top wicket taker at this stage in the tournament. 8 wickets to him.
Shepherd a hat-trick in his first game of this tournament as well.
Absolutely.
Wasn't a pretty one, but it was a hat-trick nonetheless.
But what
They
do
all
they
count.
say? Yeah, what do they say? It doesn't matter how they come.
No.
Whether it's wickets or runs, bowlers and batters will take them. Shepherd now round the wicket to the left-handed Bethel. Short third, deep square third, point, cover, mid-off. That's the offside field. Romario Shepherd from the far end, wide of the crease, bowls to Bethel, who defends on the offside. Good looking delivery that, defended. 40 for 1 it remains. Butler's on 7 of 7. Bethel's just come in at the fall of Phil Salt, who played that absolutely rocket of an innings. 31 odd, almost nothing. Massive sixes, couple of lovely boundaries as well, and then perished very much the way he had batted, looking to power one over the offside. And Shepherd is now turning and coming into bowl from the far end into us. He comes, bowls, and Bethel cuts powerfully and beats a diving fielder at cover point to get 4 runs deep on the power point boundary. I think he got a hand to it, just slowing the ball down, but not enough to prevent the boundary. 44 for 1, good looking shot square of the wicket from Jacob Bethel.
Very attractive shot by Bethel. And for all of the bludgeoning and power of Phil Salt, this was just class timing. Wouldn't be out of place in a test match. A rock back, the front foot is up in the air as he times the ball through square cover just in front of square for 4 with a straight bat. Lovely shot and some welcome relief for England. That was an excellent over by Romario Shepherd, even with that boundary on the end, but the boundary just keeps England ticking over.
Yeah, 7 coming off it, and Akhil Hussain to continue. He's going to bowl his 3rd over on the trot, and Butler is the man on strike. Hussain stands square facing the bowler, batter, I beg your pardon, as he walks in, and then just a couple of steps and tosses this one up, full toss, and not cleanly stopped, but nevertheless I think the single would have accrued anyway. That'll bring the left-handed Bethel on strike.
Well, Butler will be disappointed he's not put that down marine drive. That's a knee-high full toss that maybe if Butler was 2 or 3 more overs into his innings would have almost certainly been 6. So Hussain gets away with one there.
Jacob Bethel, who all heard so much about him, saw him during the Ashes, took a bit of time but then produced that beautiful innings. Just looks so compact and so elegant. Of course, being a left-hander, he starts with an advantage, I dare
Yes.
say, because all left-handers look stunning. The same shot played by a right-hander, I'm afraid, doesn't even measure up, but he settles now in a comfortable looking stance as Hussain comes into bowl to him, bowls, and he leans back, finds the gap, threads the needle. Hetmeyer in chase, but the ball will win, as it does inevitably here at the Wankhede. 9 times out of 10. 4 more runs to England and to Jacob Bethel. 49 for 1, and Bethel's already gone up to 9 with 2 pleasing boundaries. One classy square cut, and this one eased away, placed perfectly between 2 men inside the ring to cover for 4.
He just waits for a split second. He's back in position to play off the back foot rather than cutting it. Decides to play it 20 feet in front of square to make sure he splits the gap.
It's a busy area that where he got it through. Hussain in again, bowls, and once again he leans, and this time he gets a little bit of good fortune. Outside edge, flies away. Brave attempt again by I think it's Shepherd. Yes, Romario Shepherd chasing the ball down to 3rd, but I think we'll get confirmation that it may not have succeeded. They've run 2. We'll wait for the umpire, who will be in touch with his colleague upstairs to check. But from this distance at the far end of the ground, I suspect that will be soon signalled 4. Great effort though. Big fast bowler running all the way back and throwing himself to try and prevent a boundary. That's the kind of desperation they will need. It will be signalled 4. I think the ball went off his hand onto the cushion, and when he got up he actually saw the ball away from the rope, so he thought that he may well have done the job, but it isn't. Wait for the signal. We haven't got it yet. This is sometimes a little bit surprising, isn't it, Finney? Maybe that's why we're not umpires.
Well, no, I think we'd make very efficient umpires. Prakash, there we go, signalled 4.
So
You knew straight away.
53 for 1.
You went to gloat there, Prakash.
I wouldn't stretch that too far. Occasionally it happens. Now, change of line of attack for Akhil Hussain. He's going to bowl over the wicket to the left-handed Bethel, who's raced up to 13 of 5 with 3 boundaries to his name. The third one being a little bit fortuitous. Bowls, good ball, defended on the offside, and Hetmeyer feels at cover, about 5 feet inside the 30-yard circle. Akhil Hussain, 2 balls to come off his third over. Current run rate 11.3. Early in the innings, mind you. Here's Hussain now in again to bowl to Bethel. Bowls, and Bethel just helps it round the corner ever so comfortably for 4 runs. Lovely shot, no pressure, no strength deployed, just perfect timing and placement. 4 more, and Bethel's off to an absolute screamer. 2 different ways. We saw Salt really powering the ball away, and Bethel caressing it more often than not. Is up to 17 of 7. England now 57 for 1.
Yeah.
Looking good at the moment.
Yeah, and Hussain's bowling so quick, close to 100 kilometres an hour, so all Bethel has to do is touch that or time it out the middle of the bat. It does bring a change in the field. The mid-wicket that was inside the ring and has now gone to a backward square leg. There's a short fine leg, deep mid-wicket and long on. The 4-fielder's out on the leg side.
Here's Hussain, last ball of his over. Bowls, and Bethel this time works it away exactly where they moved the fielder from. They'll take 1 to the fielder coming off the boundary. That will be the end of the 5th over, and England are 58 for 1. Not much in it at the moment. West Indies had lost 2 at the end of the 5th over, if memory serves. England have lost 1 wicket less, but more importantly, Bethel's on 18 of 8 and Butler a run a ball 8. And words from Stephen Finn, and then takeover commentary will be Henry Moran.
Yeah, this is a good start. Salt will be really disappointed that he's not gone on there, because he looked in great form. Finds in the middle of the bat, maybe just took the wrong option at that time with the shape of Romario Shepherd, but outside of that, Bethel has come in and looked absolutely fluent.
Hello, Finny.
Hello, Henry.
Yeah, it's been a few runs, one way or another, haven't there?
Lots of runs.
Loads of them. Your curry next to me, you know, so it looks hot.
Yes.
It's got a sort of radioactive quality to it, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Visually.
Well, now it's congealing because it's been sat under an aircon unit for the last half an hour or so.
There is a violence in appearance that is met with the violence in space. Shamar Joseph into the attack for the first time as Bethel is thrashing that away through the offside. Chase on for the fielder in the deep, does well. And it'll just be the 1 run. It was going out towards that deep third boundary. The required rate stands at 9.3. England currently going at 11.4, but we are in the power play, of which this is the final over.
Well, it's also it's a chicken curry with bones in, and the only cutlery there is a spoon. So trying to navigate chicken off bone with a spoon whilst avoiding green chilies was
but maybe that's the idea, is that you have to eat it slowly, and so you're given a spoon so as to avoid doing anything too dramatic. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that's one theory.
A bit like, I suppose, they'll say if you eat rice with sushi with chopsticks, it slows you down. Full delivery, which is whipped into the onside by Butler out towards mid-on. Do you get the logic there?
Yes. I also just asked for a spoon if in that situation.
Because I've always thought of all, in the development process of cutlery and eating rice, how the 2 sticks came out on top has long baffled me.
I think you're right. I think we have a man who's going to know the answer to that one.
Here comes Carlos Brathwaite. Thank you, Vinny. As we see Shamar Joseph, 2 from the over so far, running into bowl to Jacob Bethel. He defends into the onside. There'll be no run there. He's bowled quickly and accurately so far, Joseph, as he walks back to the end of his mark. And Carlos Brathwaite will be with us in just a moment, but he himself is just finishing up something from the buffet downstairs. Carlos has seen a lot of runs today, midway through the 6th over. 60 for 1 is the score. Here comes Shamar Joseph, bowling to the left-handed Jacob Bethel. Oh, it's full toss, and Bethel's missed out there because he's managed to pick up the fielder, Moti, on the boundary. The one man that could possibly have stopped that has managed to do so. And England 61 for 1 with just 3 from the over so far. And 2 balls left of the power play. Ready for action, Carlos?
Almonds down the hatch, ready to go.
Excellent. Excellent news. I thought I did some excellent expert filling there, as you yourself were doing some expert filling, it has to be said. 61 for 1. Josh Buttler on strike, England's former captain, who I spoke to at the ground yesterday. He was on good form. He waits and gives himself some room, chases a wide delivery, somehow managed to shovel the ball into the offside. It'll be chased by Hetmeyer, who will field. He goes for the full surname of Hetmeyer on his shirt as opposed to Hetty, which is what he has in franchise cricket. I don't know if you maybe are required to have your actual name in ICC events.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if Brazil starts playing cricket. What will you put? Can you just put Ronaldo, Ronaldinho?
Well, that's a thought. I mean, that's going to require some high-level meetings, I would have thought. In comes Shamar Joseph. Final ball of the power play is slapped through the offside for 4. Butler gets a piece of that, and England conclude the power play at 67 for 1. West Indies has seen the ball go to all parts, it must be said, and this partnership 29 off 16. England going above and beyond the required rate, and so feeling pretty content with life, I'd imagine. But they'll need to continue this momentum because 197 is a big old target.
Yeah, and I still feel West Indies are 10 or so short. Samuel Badri reckons 20 short. But still, you take hope from knowing that, no pun intended, to get to 197, a lot of things still need to go right. That Jason Holdover going for 24 would have ease a little bit of pressure on the English batters in the power play, but you're 1 wicket away, 2 wickets away maybe, and you build some pressure. The challenge for the West Indies is that they don't have that Adil Rashid type bowler that can chop the ball to know you'll get a tight over, potentially get a wicket. There's fear struck in the batters when they see them hold the ball, so it needs to be more of the collective, but it's not impossible.
Well, it's a good game of cricket, this. It's a high-scoring one. We've seen some belters today, let me tell you. A double super over we saw between Afghanistan and South Africa, highlights of which are on the BBC Sport website and app for our listeners in the UK. And you've also got the win for Australia against Ireland, a little more comprehensive, that one. And we'll be reacting to it all on the Test Match Special podcast that you can find on BBC Sounds later on today, as we bring you all of the action from the tournament, every ball of every game, and there is more to come as well. We've got tomorrow's offerings. Let me bring you the schedule and make sure you're right across it. Sri Lanka against Oman from Pallekele tomorrow. That's the early game. Italy-Nepal comes from here in Mumbai in the afternoon. And that's 9, so UK time is the early game. When I say that, 5:30 in the morning start, but it was worth it this morning to be up and about for the Afghanistan-South Africa game. Italy-Nepal is 9:30 AM UK time, and then it's India back in action in Delhi at the Feroz Kotla Stadium, 7 PM local time. That's 1:30 in the afternoon UK time. And that's to look forward to tomorrow. Every ball of every game throughout this World Cup. 55 matches. We're already on match 15. And I would argue we have seen as many close and exciting games in this T20 tournament as we saw in the entirety of the 50 over World Cup here a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That groan tells me they can be a bit like that, can't they?
It's not it wasn't the best memory. You think back to Pakistan, South Africa, maybe?
Yeah.
Out to the ones that we covered that were really gripping all the way until the end.
There weren't many, were there? It dragged a little. Roston Chase is going to bowl. Very tall, rangy figure. He's in to bowl really in this side, 2 England's left-handers. That's what we heard about from Shea Hope in the pre-match interview. We've had drinks, that's what the delay was for, and Chase with the shirt untucked and the long sleeves and the bald head with the light beaming off it is going to come round the wicket to bowl to Jacob Bethel, who rocks back in the crease and will get at least 1 out towards the offside, and it is just that single. He moves on to 21 off 12, having scored a half-century in his tournament opener against Nepal. If you want to get in touch, by the way, tms@bbc.co.uk is the way to do so.
Ruston Chase is a funny campaigner, you know. He just got this knack of picking up wickets that he has no right picking up, bowling over as he shouldn't, and almost ultra reliable.
Well, 2 cover fielders inside the circle. Butler instead just plays the ball back towards the bowler. Out of the power play now, so 5 outside the circle, a deep backward point, long off. Quite a wide long on in the form of Rovman Powell. We've got a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square. Then there's 2 short covers, a short third and a short fine leg. Butler goes big into the leg side. Forget where you've got your fielders on the boundary because it's 6. And Jos Buttler deep in the crease just rocks back and rolls it away into the leg side.
Yeah, that was pace on and short. The one thing that Adil Rashid did really well was take all the pace off of it and give the pitch some work to do. Feels like Akil Hussain has been a little bit quick on that occasion as well. Ruston Chase a little bit too quick for what the pitch desires.
Chase it again. Butler once more goes in the air, but he's going to be caught on the boundary, and he is. Rovman Powell with a catch at long on, and you mentioned that he gets wickets you don't think he deserves. Well, it wasn't a great ball, it wasn't a great shot, and England's former captain goes 21 off 14, 74 for 2, and out to the middle will come the England number 4 Tom Banton, already halfway to the middle, and Butler rehearses the stroke he wishes played, and he knew he hadn't got it. And Powell settled himself down below us and took a pretty straightforward catch.
I love the change. I love the change of pace from Ruston Chase. Felt as though that one was a little bit slower than the ball before, and the ball before is the one that was pumped for 6. That was a lot closer in speed to the very first ball he bowled to Bethel. And it just feels as though the more pace you take off it at this point in time, the more purchase you'll get from the pitch. But the first thing spinners run to as soon as they get hit is the ball a little quicker. So how can you go against what might feel natural to do what the conditions ask you to do?
So Tom Banton comes to the middle. Failure in the last game. But the tall right-hander has an opportunity here. Chase bowls to him and there'll be a run immediately, tapped into the onside. England 75 for 2, need a further 122 from 79 balls with 8 wickets in hand. Just say they're in a good position.
Very good position. You probably prefer to be in their position right now. I just hope that someone records the last 24 months of Tom Banton, and for any young cricketer, say here's the playbook. Keep red ball cricket at the forefront.
Bethel, someone who's had red ball cricket success of late, that 100 in the Ashes at Sydney, gets 1 into the onside. Well, tell me more. What do you mean by that?
But Banton burst onto the scene and he had all the flicks, all the tricks, a good contract to Brisbane Heat, and you know, it was all the fanfare about it, and he fell off the boil for a little bit. I mean, none of us really knows why that happens, but it happens for different reasons. Then once he fell out of favour on the franchise circuit, he went back to red ball cricket, triple 100, churned out runs. I just feel, even from my personal perspective, when you're playing red ball cricket, you do the right things for a longer period of times, and you don't get caught in the trap of T20 stuff, and you might find yourself down the order on a couple of occasions, and before you know it, you can go through a whole tournament batting 50 balls in total. Whereas if you bat properly, you probably bat down the nets in red ball cricket, and in one game you'd be hoping to bat close to 100, 200 balls. So it just gets you to put volume, and not only volume hitting balls, but doing the right things, getting in the right positions, good balance, good shapes, picking length, etc.
Kudakesh Moti into the attack to bowl to Bethel. It's dropped short, hammered into the onside for 1. Bethel to 23 of 14, 77 for 2.
I want to see this Moti versus Bethel matchup, because when he started doing now Moti to the left-handers is bowling left arm and wrist spin, and he spent some time with Tabraiz Shamsi when West Indies were in South Africa just before the World Cup, trying to pick his brain on how he thinks about setting batters up, and it's a difficult task because his main thing is the finger spin.
Moti bowls to Banton. That's a lovely looking shot, but a very good stop. And the covers from Roston Chase, who had to dive to his right to get there, gets a high 5.
But if he could bowl left arm finger spin to right hand batters and leg spin to left hand batters.
Banton doesn't quite time that, but he will get 1 down the ground. Keeps that scoreboard ticking over. The required rate 9.5 and over. England need 119 from 75 as the Mexican wave goes sweeping round below us in a anti-clockwise fashion. It was going clockwise the other night. Who decides?
I think the announcer got a little bored. It's not been a bad game. 78 for 2 and 7.3, and you got the Mexican wave coming out. Tough crowd.
Well, I know Chris doesn't like the DJ. It's a low full toss, which Bethel smacks down the ground for 6. The ball slipped out of Moti's hand, and it was then sent sailing away towards the dressing rooms, and Bethel moves to 29, 84 for 2. Chris in Tring says, I wish the DJ would shut up at the T20. Very, very annoying and just not needed. Chris. I don't think we can try and get that message across. I don't think it'll make much difference. Bethel, deep in the crease, gets a quicker ball and just happy to nudge towards mid-wicket for 1. 85 for 2 with the ball left of the 8th over. England's target 197.
I know there was a state rule years ago that the music had to be cut off by 10.
Here?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a little bit of overcompensation because we only got 26 minutes or so to go.
Round the wicket, Moti with the left arm spin, and it's in the air and it's caught. And Tom Banton has been caught in the offside, and he rehearses the stroke and he looks at the ground, shakes his head and has to go. Banton goes 2 from 4, he can't believe it. He just picked out that fielder at extra cover and has to depart. 85 for 3.
Yeah, soft dismissal. Wonder can he just go up and over? Go over the 2 fielders. The 2 fielders are there because he's so good with reverse sweep. The pointer's gone back, and it's caused his downfall. I don't think he was trying to go over. He's just trying to get a single to mid-off. But Brandon King taking a step and a half across, and a nice clean catch. Should be taken, but a lot can go wrong at that height.
Just came off the outer part of the bat, and it was not a pretty looking shot that from Banton, I'm afraid. 2 from 4 is not the return he would have wanted. So 2 failures in the tournament for Tom Banton. England 85 for 3. 8 overs gone, and this game is beautifully poised, you have to say. And West Indies at this point was 64 for 3. So England well ahead of that, but equally, context of match, it's very hard to equate the two really, because of the pressure and the nuance of T20 cricket doesn't necessarily dictate that one will equal the other. Harry Brook, England's captain, comes to the middle at 85 for 3. Got a 50 in the last game. These two both did, Bethel and Brook.
I think this is a big part of the game. This is a massive passage of play. These next 2 or 3 overs, if West Indies can get 2 wickets, you think they've nudged in front. But if these 2 are there at the end of that period,
Bethel drops the ball towards the offside and then points almost like he's fencing at the non-strikers end to say there's no run. Chase is bowling from down below us. Spin from both ends. Roston Chase, rangy figure, long sleeves. Field switches round, so there's a lot of space at
We got some sort of message. Some sort of message coming from the dressing room, but Romario Shepherd at short third don't seem to be interpreting it correctly.
Chase to Bethel, who's struck high on the pad. There'll be no real enthusiasm for a LBW shout, despite the ooh from the DJ, who Chris is hoping the 10 o'clock curfew might be coming into force for. Bethel waits for Chase, and is rather startled by one that does turn quite sharply. A bit of turn, bit of bounce. 3 dot balls at the start of the over. The required rate is getting closer and closer to the actual rate after England's rocket start. Bethel has not looked overly ruffled at any point in his international career to date. Shouldn't be feeling it at this stage. And indeed, he just angles the ball into the offside. We'll get a single to get Brook onto strike for the first time. 86 for 3. England need 111 from 68.
And we have another look back at the dismissal of Tom Banton. Was it a little bit premeditated, just trying to usher it to mid-off? Because it felt as though he was close enough to it. He could have probably just smite it back past the bowler or hit it all along the ground with a little bit more verve. It felt like a quite timid shot, and he ended up not quite getting there and getting a little bit of a leading edge.
Well, we see mid-wicket coming into place for Harry Brook, who's going for a little bit of a walk towards square leg, having a look around, seeing 3 fielders on the boundary on the leg side, a couple on the offside. Big gap through the covers if he can drive through there against the spin. He gets a quick ball first up from Chase, working into the onside. He'll get a single, just 2 from the over so far with a ball left of it. The required rate 9.85, England's actual rate 9.85.
But again, this delivery from Morty is slow. It gets a little bit of purchase, just slowing it down to show that it hits the outside half of the bat. But again, can you take that pace off? Can you be brave enough to go slow and allow the pitch to help you?
Chase to Bethel. We'll get one. Pops up in the air briefly. Chase is interested. So 3 from the over, that's all. And he's done a good job so far. 2 overs, 1 for 12. 9 overs gone in the run chase. It's 88 for 3, and England need 109 from 66 deliveries. If you were a betting man, Carlos, it'd be a tough one to call this.
Yeah, just heard a couple of boys throwing some betting terms around, and I was like, yeah, you lost me there.
Yeah.
It's either win or lose for me, or if it's a test match, a draw. If it's South Africa versus Afghanistan Super Over, but I'd probably go England win.
From here?
Yeah. The next couple overs will say probably more than the first 9 overs, I said, because you need to get a Kilo sign in or a Seamer. I don't think you can go Morty, Chase. There's kind of an unwritten rule that you try not to give your spinners 3 back-to-back, or any bowler for that matter.
Mosey bowls to Bethel, works down the ground for 1, gets Brook on strike. Carlos, thank you to you. Are you off, or was that you leaving?
Yeah, I was told to leave.
You've got to go, have you?
Henry.
Well,
I don't want to leave you.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. We'll see you again soon, Carlos. Thank you very much indeed, Carlos Brathwaite. Always a pleasure. England, West Indies in a T20 World Cup in India. Is there a better man for the occasion? Well, maybe Stephen Finn.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, is there a better person for the occasion than Carlos for a World Cup game?
Well, I wish I had that smooth voice. And the experience of hitting 4 sixes in a World Cup final would be a nice thing to lean in upon.
Yeah, I don't know if bang on about this. Here comes Moti bowling to Harry Brook, nudged into the onside, 1 taken. What do you make of it then, Finney?
It feels pretty even, doesn't it? I think the fact that England have lengthened their batting lineup is now looking like a good decision, because they need those runs now, just over 10 and over, to get over the line. So having that depth in batting is clearly going to be important. I do really think it's about 50-50 right now.
Bethel waiting for Moti. Oh, bowls him! It was a quicker delivery, and Bethel leans on his bat and looks back at the shattered timbers behind him, swishes at the air and has to go. England 4 down. Maybe that pendulum swings just a little closer to the West Indies now. 90 for 4. Moti strikes for a second time.
Well, I kind of wish I'd waited 10 seconds to give you my prediction of it being 50-50, and it's a wrist spinner from Moti, who's dropped a few of those in. One came out a full toss. This one pitches and just keeps a little bit low, scuttles through underneath the bat of Jacob Bethel, and Bethel is crestfallen as he goes off. Such frustration. He'd made such a nice start to his innings as well, serenely moving to 33, tied down on the crease there by Moti, and the West Indies get their 4th, which swings it into their favour. That depth is still showing Sam Curran in now. Excellent player. Still got Overton, Dawson, Jacks, Archer. There's loads there.
There is. He says quite a lot rests with Harry Brook now, however.
Well, you need partnership. So you look at what the West Indies did really well. They lost wickets, but then they had 50-run partnership. It's important that England don't go down thrashing. Give yourselves a chance. Build the partnership. These two guys can catch up very easily.
Curran struggled in the first game, just couldn't get away at all. But he's an experienced player, he knows these conditions very well, and then had a starring role with the ball in the first match. Can he do something similar with the bat? Moti's got 2 for 11. Midway through the 10th over, England need 107 from 63. Here comes Moti to bowl to Curran, who gets delivery well down the leg side, which, well, he a little more in, might have been dispatched to the boundary, but on this occasion, he just paddles it into the onside and gets 1. 91 for 4. See a replay again. It's a clever piece of bowling, that. Just scuttled on, didn't it? Kept a little low. Glanced the pads. And the wicket falls. Round the wicket. Brook will time that beautifully into the onside for 1. Turns for a second. No, says Sam Curran. Good decision too. 1 ball left of the over. England have scored just 35 in the last 30 balls, but they've lost 3 wickets in that time. And 105 from 61 feels challenging, to say the least. Here is the final ball of the first half of the innings, and it's a low full toss, which again, later in his innings, Curran might well have dispatched over the ropes. On this occasion, it's just the 1, 5 from the over, 93 for 4 after 10, and Prakash Wakankar will take us through the next phase of the innings after some more from you, Stephen Finn.
Yeah, tricky Moti because he mixes between wrist spin and finger spin, so there are loads of different cues going on there for the batters, and Jacob Bethel going back to a wrist spinner, but it was like an undercutting wrist spinner that just skidded on underneath the bat of Jacob Bethel. Good skillful bowling, and the West Indies, much as England needed to do, need to keep thinking wickets, tie these batters down, force them to play a false shot. England, on the other hand, need to try and build a partnership and pick their bowlers that they want to take down.
Indeed, they'll have to 93 for 4 at the halfway stage, because West Indies had a late surge. England will have to do something similar. They're a little bit ahead now at this stage than the West Indies were after 10. Joseph now with the ball in his hand, getting ready to start a fresh over, give you the field. Deep third, man on the deep cover boundary, and then long on, straightish mid wicket. What have we got? Yes, and a deep square leg. A little bit difficult to spot the fielder. Square leg cracked away through the offside. This will probably, yes, it does beat the fielder. Edmire has no chance. So 4 runs to Sam Curran as he drives through the offside elegantly and places it perfectly.
Shots like that make you think this is still a very good wicket. Scrambled seam delivery from Shamar Joseph, but no movement off the surface, and Curran's able to just throw his hands through the ball and time it through that extra cover region. The fielder at square cover on the boundary had no chance of cutting that off, but when the seamers come on, it's very hard to stop the flow of runs.
Here's Joseph again in bowls to Curran, who dabs it away nicely in front towards mid-wicket. He'll pick up a single. 98 for 4 now. Hussain has bowled 3, none for 26. Holder in that 1 over went for 24. Romario Shepherd just the 1 over for 7 so far. Joseph's into his second. He's gone for 14 so far. Roston Chase, that is 2 overs, 1 for 12, and Moti 2 overs, 2 for 14, having just picked up the wicket of Jacob Bethel in the previous over.
So from that, there's only 5 overs of spin left, so there will be 5 overs of seam in these last 10. Those will be the 5 overs that England
will,
in particular, will look to target. They still have to score runs off the others, but they'll be targeting 2 monster overs off those 5 overs of seam, I'd have thought.
There's Shamar Joseph in again, this time to Brook, and off the inside part of the bat, the ball squirts away towards backward square. And before Hetmeyer fields a comfortable single, they walk across. 99 for 4. And as you said, Finney, with the additional depth that the inclusion of Overton has provided, England do have the batting, should the need arise.
Yeah, and Will Jacks to come next as well. You can't forget what he did in the last game.
In many ways responsible for England to get to that total that they were able to defend in the end. Joseph's all set. Gets ready to run into bowl now to the left-handed Sam Curran, who takes a look around the field. He, in his mind's eye, now knows exactly where the fielders are on the boundary. Round the wicket, cracked away on the offside, but not with any timing at all, so it's comfortably fielded at cover by Brandon King. There is no run. 99 for 4. What's going through Shamar Joseph's mind? He's walking back to the top of his run now from the edge of the 30-yard circle almost. Jersey number 70 emblazoned on his back. He runs away purposefully, bowls, and it's this one's flat batted, and he does Joseph, to get a hand and make sure it doesn't pass him. So 2 dot balls, and so quickly a couple of dot balls can mount pressure. This one, I think, the slower one. And this is so crucial, isn't it? We saw this in the morning game again from Lungi Ngidi in the regular game, because it almost seems like it was 2 different games in the morning. But mixing up the pace, mixing up the length, not being predictable, and that's the point you made after that first game that England played here, Finney. There's Joseph bowls, and this one's beating him outside the off stump as he looks to dab down to third. Good 3 balls to finish the over, 3 dots to end, 6 off it, and 11 overs bowled now. The run rate at even 9, required run rate just shy of 11. You would think in modern day T20 cricket that's not by itself a challenge. The wicket's playing no tricks, so...
Doesn't seem to be, does it? It's a tricky one to work out without being able to go down there and look at it, but when Curran can hit through the line of the ball, as he did the first delivery of that over, it suggests to me that the ball's coming onto the bat really well. What West Indies have done well here is just that ball that he runs his fingers over and bowls into the surface, stops batters being able to feel as though they can just stand there and swing against one pace.
Moti bowls, outside edge, will run down to third man. There's a man running after it. He might just drag it in. He does, just a few inches inside the boundary, but that was a genuinely good delivery from Moti. It spun, took the outside edge of Harry Brooks's bat, and in a conventional sort of game that was straight into Slip's pocket. But here in the T20 format, of course, at this stage in the innings there isn't one, and 2 runs to the total. 100 comes up for England, 101 for 4 in the 12th over. Moti again bowls, and this one's firmly driven up towards the long off area. I think, Finney, what you're thinking is exactly what the England captain's thinking. After this over, there's a maximum of 4 overs of spin left. Let's watch those a little carefully and then go big against the pace.
And the sensible thing for a right-hander to do here is allow the left-hander to do the whacking against the left arm bowler.
Moti in again, bowls to Curran, who flicks it away to deep mid-wicket. This might have been the one that was again bowled quicker and flatter by Moti.
Yeah, wrist spinner. So the way he does it, it's kind of what Liam Livingstone does when he bowls. But we'll bowl wrist spin to the batter to get it to move away from the left-handers, and then finger spin to the right-handers in order to get it to move away from them.
Great skill to have. Moti bowled this one. He drops shot, gets away with it, even though it's been hit into the gap. It might just get 4 for it. It does. It looked like Harry Brook hadn't timed it as well as he would have liked to, but the placement was so good that the fielder down on the ground there. Looks like Rutherford, yes. Hope he's not hurt himself. And he's clutching his right wrist as Rutherford. 4 runs have accrued to England. And Brook playing it deliberately down, never intended to hit it in the air. And as Rutherford dives, I think the ball just about hitting him, maybe on the little bone on the wrist. Is he going off? He looks like that. Physio is out quickly, and Rutherford's walking with him over the rope now at this stage. Yes, he has left the field, so the West Indies will get on a substitute fielder.
Yeah, it looks as though maybe his arm, when he slid, sometimes there are tent pegs in the ground to keep the advertising there. His arm may, as he slid, just have run over one of those tent pegs.
Can be quite painful.
Oh, it sounds horrible.
Moti in. This one's short, pulled away firmly. First bounce to the man. That is Shamar Joseph. He feels there'll be a single comfortably taken. The England total now 108 for 4, with 1 ball of the 12th to come. Right-left combination, always a pain for bowlers to adjust. Fielders having to move around just creates that little bit more uncertainty, and having to make sure that every time you're getting to the spot where your captain wants you to be, if you're a fielder in the deep particularly. Moti in, bowls to Curran. Curran has managed to hit it in a way which I don't think was deliberate, didn't time it very well, and as a result he got 2 runs because the ball didn't travel, and Hetmyer had to come all the way from the boundary to pick it up near the 30-yard circle. 12 gone, 110 now for 4, requiring 87 runs to win off 48 balls.
Well, there's their 11 runs off that over, and that's one of their spin overs as well, so good news for England. As these two spend more time at the crease, they'll get used to the pace of it, get used to the cues from the bowlers as well. West Indies here, I'd imagine, it'll be pure spin now until those last 4 overs of the innings, when we'll get the seam back again. This is their opportunity now to squeeze, try and make Brook or Curran play a full shot. Brook is the key, though, it feels. If Brook's there at the end, England win. If they manage to prize him out now, puts a lot of pressure on the others.
10.88 if you're statistically minded. Roston Chase to start his 3rd over. He's bowled 2, 1 for 12. He's got 2 men in the deep on the offside, 3 deep on the on. Bowls to Brook. Brook turns it away nicely, and it's a good bit of fielding. Looked a bit awkward, but he managed to get down the big man there. And Romario Shepherd on that 30-yard circle at shot fine prevents more than a single. Nelson on the board, 1-1-1 for 4 now. And Roston Chase to the left-handed Curran. The 2 points now, 2 men behind square on the offside, inside the ring. Roston Chase is in, bowls, tosses this one up. Curran drives up the ground, they'll pick up a run. Holder off the boundary does the fielding. Very sensible. This also displays the confidence that England have, that they don't need to go big, don't need to take any chances. They know their opportunity is going to come, and they are playing for that. 112 for 4. West Indies got 196 for 6 of their 20 overs, and that set England a total of 197 to win. They're 112, so 85 shy of the required runs. Chase bowls wide outside the off stump, but signalled as such, fired it in. Thought Brook was going to give him the charge, I think.
Well, Brook stepped just outside leg to try. When the pace is on the ball, Brook will feel as though there's not that much turn, so he can hit it up over extra cover. So Brook giving himself a little bit of room. I just wonder if Roston Chase might let the pace off this one a little bit.
Here he is now, And he does exactly that. Cracked away on the offside, not with enough time to place it where he might have liked it. Toe end of the bat from the England captain. No run. 113 for 4. Required run rate now 11.2. Won't phase them too much at this stage, one would think. Here's Roston Chase again. Goes in bowls. Fires this one at the pad. He's tickled it round the corner. This should be 4. I don't think Romario Shepherd... Oh, he does get there. He's struggling. But he manages to get there, and that's wide. Didn't touch anything. I thought might have got just a little bit of pad on its way. But that means there's an extra ball as well.
See, that's
a bit harsh, isn't it?
I don't think that should be a wide, yeah.
Batter moving away to the leg, bowler following him. Just
steps inside it, doesn't he? So
he does.
Yeah.
Well,
harsh.
Chase again in bowls. Once again, it moves across a little bit and cracked away on the offside in front of square. Almost overran it. Did Shamar Joseph manages to get hold of it in the end? Limits it to 2. Yeah, one day with all the technology that's coming into the game, I think these might get adjudicated by technology as well. But the umpire is the best placed. From wherever on the ground you look, you can never get an exact view the way the umpire does. He chose on this occasion and decided that it was wide, and 2 wides plus the one for the wide. So 3 runs accruing to England on that occasion. 118 for 4. Chase bowls once again tucked away. And a laborious passage down to earth, literally, for Mario Shepherd. Big smile on his face. Yes, but he's doing the job. That's the important thing. He's chased down a couple. And now skipper Shai Hope runs from behind the wicket to his bowler, having a word with him, discussing where he might want to bowl the last ball of the 13th over. This one's gone for 9 again, so very much on track, the Windies. The England batters, I beg your pardon.
See, I'd be tempted if I was Chase here, given the situation. England's still quite some way off. You'd throw up a slow one for Curran to try and slog.
He's in, he bowls. Doesn't toss it up, but Curran flags it nicely through the straightish mid-wicket region and gets 4 runs. This is 13 of the over. So the last 2 spin overs have gone for 24, Finney. And that just makes the task a little bit easier, doesn't it? With 7 overs to come, England needs 74 to win.
Yeah, and it also shows you don't need to take big risks to score at 12 and over in this situation. England, in those 2 overs, I can't think of one reckless shot that they've played that not looked like getting out. It's just accumulation, and then if there's a bad ball there, wallop it away to the fence, and that puts the pressure on the bowlers. And the scoreboard's not getting away from England at all here. The rates come down, 10.5 and over needed now for the next 7 overs.
Romario Shepherd's got 3 overs left, but the way he's moving around on the field, I wonder if he's going to be able to actually bowl too much.
I think that might just be how he moves.
You think so?
Yeah, you just get a little bit stiff, stood there, even in Mumbai.
In Mumbai, you worried more about cramp and losing.
That's true. Well, you'd be disappointed if you cramped in a T20 game.
Moti continues, worked away on the onside by Harry Brook for a single. This will be Moti's last. He's picked up 2 important wickets as the diminutive man. His full name, from what I was reading, actually suggested or said that his full name is Gudakesh Moti Kanhai. Wonder if that had anything to do with his parents being influenced by the great Rohan Kanhai. In comes Moti bowls over the wicket, eased on the offside by Curran. There won't be a run on this occasion. Joseph's up inside the circle, prevents a run. Big smile on his face. Game being played by and large, all the games in this tournament so far played in very good spirit. I mean, some very close ones. Here's shot and pulled in the air and well clear of Hetmeyer, who can only watch it sail over his head into the stands for 6. So Sam Curran once again showing why he's so valuable. And there's something about Indian conditions in Sam Curran. He just absolutely revels in these conditions, and he's now up to 21 of 13, and that was a very, very good shot. Dragged it back short of a length and comfortably put away. 130 for 4. Moti bowls, tossed up, slapped away firmly, but straight to the man at sweeper cover for a single. Already now 8 runs of this over, 4 balls bowled. So England doing this almost exactly the way it's required mathematically. 10 or 11 runs an over required, and they're getting those at the moment comfortably. Now to the right-handed Brook. What's Moti going to do? He's got 2 balls left of his spell to make an impact. Bowls, and he's tossed it back in the air. Has he taken him? He's caught and bowled. The England captain, just a bit tentative, slightly slower, I think, through the air, gripped a little probably, and the full face of the bat, and a nice diving catch from Gudakesh Moti picks up his 3rd wicket, and the England captain walking back 131 for 5 with 1 of the 14th over to come.
Looks like an excellent piece of bowling by Moti. It was just held back and perfect seam position with a few rotations and revolutions on it, and it just holds in the pitch just slightly with that lack of pace. And Brook, looking to just defend it, push it down the ground for a single, is through the shot just slightly too early and offers up a simple chance to Moti, who takes the catch diving to his left, but it was looping, so there was no real pace on it. And as that hung in the air, everyone watched, and feels like such a critical moment in the game. Harry Brook, such an important player in run chases like this for England. And it looked as though him and Sam Curran were just serenely making their way at the run rate towards the target. A wicket always changes things. England will have to rebuild.
Yes, and drinks on the field, and you can see Darren Sammy out there with his boys in maroon, egging them on, pats on the back, conversations happening. Are we headed to another close finish? 131 for 5,
super
10.7.
Can't have a 3rd super over.
I don't know if you can hold. I can handle a 3rd super over in the day. But Will Jacks is out there now as Curran's getting a well-earned drink. Looks pretty humid out there, while we seem to be subjected to rather cold air conditioning
well,
here.
You've buttoned your jacket all the way up to the top.
Well, it is cold. I mean, and you don't expect that at this time of the year in Mumbai.
No, although I bought my hoodie because I anticipated.
That's why champion athletes can anticipate better, I think, than most others. The rope is out, but I think that was more to put a tick in the box. I don't see any real dew out there. And that's been one good thing so far. There hasn't been any dew that has impacted the game, and you really don't want that to happen. Remember, there are local time wise, there are morning starts, an afternoon start at 3, and it's really the evening game, the 7 o'clock start, which has the potential. We'll see what we haven't heard anything in Kolkata either, which might have been another place where dew could play a role. The ground staff are off, as indeed are the drinks, and we are set to resume with Will Jacks having come in to replace his captain. 1 delivery of Moti's spell remains, and he's going to bowl to Jacks with a slip in place. That's a good move, one thinks, by Shai Hope, the captain, just bringing Chase into slip. There's a 2 men on the offside, saving the single inside the ring, shot extra, and shot backward point, and a shot fine where Romario Shepherd has been positioned all through this innings except when he's bowled. Slight hold up in play. I'm wondering why. Or maybe the television stuff has to finish. That could be the only explanation, because everything looks ready. Jacks is ready, fielders are ready, the crowd is ready. The umpire is still waiting to hear whatever it is that he needs to. I think he's now got the clearance, and Moti will bowl the last ball of his spell to the new man, Will Jacks, who is on strike. Moti is in, bowls to Jacks, and he goes back and defends on the offside, wants a run. Curran's not interested, and that will be the end of a very, very good spell by Gudakesh Moti. 4 overs, 3 for 33. Very, very important in the context of the game. 131 for 5, 14 gone, and the asking rate now an even 11, but with more pace than spin to come. Just looking at it, Hussein's got just 1 over left. Moti's bowled out. Chase has 1 over left, so a maximum of 2 probably, if you consider Hussain to be spin. And then The other 4 overs will still have to be seen.
Yeah, excellent from Moti, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
3 for 33, and all of the middle order as well. Bethel, Banton, and the really, really important one of Harry Brook, caught and bowled there.
Fascination for the alphabet B. Banton, Bethel and Brook. Here's Chase, starts a fresh over, bowls to Curran. Curran goes back, and there's a big appeal from the West Indies. Curran's got his bat up, but I think he's using it to sort of officially tell his partner not to run. Just telling the umpire as well. The umpire anyway hasn't ruled in favour of the fielding side. They've gone up. Shai Hope has asked for the review. He went back trying to make some room to cut the ball on the offside, and the umpire ruled that it was not LBW. The West Indies think there is a cause to get the review.
Yeah, I think they think it's just flicked Curran's pad, so the angle's back in from round the wicket by Roston Chase, and they think that there are 2 noises. I'd certainly say that there isn't.
He's probably chopped it on from his bat, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's chopped it off the inside edge onto his pad, quite aggressively actually.
You're on screen, you can signal now, thanks.
So it's actually gone exactly the opposite to what the Windies thought it was. Pad first is what they thought.
Yeah, sometimes there's the tiniest flick of pad, but his pad was actually nowhere near it. So,
in fact, his pad saved him in a way. You could almost say that he might have chopped it on. No damage done except for the review lost. Chase bowls. This one's clipped away nicely, timed well as well. It races across the outfield, just a single though. Joseph's really doing well in that region, towards our left and on the boundary. Keeps it down to a single. Shai Hope moving his fielders around, wants them exactly where he wants them. Will Jack surveys the onside field. England will want something similar, if not better, than what he did for them in that first game. 4 balls of the 15th to come from Roston Chase bowls, and Jack's drives beautifully. Beats a diving fielder at short extra. He'll pick up 1, and they will go back for the second. This is good running. Very good running indeed. Curran was coming back to the danger end, and he turned very quickly in a flash, and he was back. Game awareness. 134 for 5. Will Jacks once again just taking his time. This is also very, very good, I think, by Will Jacks, just slowing the game down. Play it at my pace. I'm the batter. Game can't proceed till I'm ready. He's now settled over his bat, waits round the wicket. Tall, lanky figure of Roston Chase bowls, strikes him on the pad. There's a big appeal, and he's been given out LBW. The throw from short third almost took the umpire out. Just managed to get his leg out of the way, and the batter has referred upstairs. He doesn't think this was a quicker ball from Roston Chase. The umpire had to think about it and then slowly raised his finger. This could be very, very important.
Yeah, it feels that way. He's been done by the pace here, Will Jacks.
I'm looking at split screen now. If we could roll that through, thanks.
The question is, has this pitched in line? And if it has pitched in line, has it spun back to be hitting the stumps?
Passing close to the inside edge of the bat. I'm going to need ultra edge next, please, if I could.
The on-field decision, remember, is out.
Ultra edge coming up now. Roll that through. Roll that through. Flat line. Just take that back for me one more time, so thanks. Briefly. So roll it through from there. So I've got a flat line as the ball passes the bat. There is no bat involved. Ball tracking next when ready, thanks.
This is the moment. Ball tracking coming up.
Original decision was out. Ball tracking coming up. It's pitching in line. Impact in line. Wickets is hitting.
Fairly straightforward in the end. Middle of middle. And that's a very important wicket. Another very good call by the umpire. Very good decision. And Will Jacks departs. So 134 for 6 now. England have lost their review. And the asking rate is now nudging 12, 11.8. Sam Curran was the hero with the ball. He's battling it out there on 23 of 16 now. And this was fired in, wasn't it, by Roston Chase. Clearly the quicker ball. Yes, 88, 90 and then 112 Ks.
it didn't look as though it was an off spinner to me. It looked like it was almost seam up, but then it has just cut back slightly to pitch on middle and then come back and hit Will Jacks in front of middle. Good bowling by Chase, an off spinner at this stage of the game when a right-hander might be looking to target him, mixing up his pace and his lines skillfully.
Jamie Overton is the new man in at number 8. He looks around the field as the fielders settle into their places. Short third, sweeper cover, extra cover, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket. A man deep back with a square, and then the customary short mid-wicket and a man at short fine. Chase in, bowls to Overton, quicker ball again, defended nicely by Jamie Overton. And there is no run. 134 for 6. And now with the number of overs remaining dropping, the rate changes very quickly. But it really doesn't matter in the sense that they still need to get those 63 runs of 31 balls. Fielder moved from straightish mid-wicket now into extra cover, and the strengthening of the square on the offside field. A single to Overton as he clips this one off his toes for Hetmeyer coming off the boundary to field. As the end of the 15th over, and with 30 balls remaining, England needs 62 to win. 135 for 6 it is. And a word from Stephen Finn, and for the last phase of the game, it will be over to Henry Moran.
Well done West Indies so far. In these last 2 or 3 overs, they've really dragged it back into their favour. The intent to take wickets, the intelligence to mix their pace on this surface, not allow the England batters to just stand there and hit through one pace, whether that's seam or spin. The same mantra rings true on a surface such as this, and the West Indies now looking to turn the screw. I think they're going to be bowling their spinners out here to try and stay in control of the situation, make the rate really difficult for the England batters to chase in those last few overs when the seamers come back on, when it might be easy to score runs, but they'll need lots of them by the time those seamers come back in.
Yeah, without those players that you'd necessarily back to do the bulk of the run scoring. Have England played badly at times today? Have they? I'm trying to sort of work out where we are with it. Well, once we see the next 30 balls, we'll be able to have that assessment. Overton waits for Hussain and will punch off the back foot. Powerful man. He'll get 1 out to deep cover. The requirement 61 off 29. Do you know what I mean? I'm not quite sure where I am with it.
No, I'd have to agree with you. I think a couple of the big overs that England, when they were bowling, you have to find a way to get out of those overs without them being monster overs. Is one thing that you would think that might be a 10-run swing in that first innings. But I think the West Indies have just been really good.
Yeah.
They've recognised the conditions. Their spinners have been excellent, especially in this passage of the game now.
136 for 6. Hussain in his final over is walking in towards us. Left arm spin around the wicket, and Curran thrashes the ball out to deep cover, but there's a man on the boundary. And there won't be more than just a single. England require 60 from 28. It's worth pointing out that games against Scotland and Italy to come, it's all very much in England's hands. There's not, concerns necessarily about qualification, but Scotland are a dangerous side, nothing to lose given the nature of their path to qualification. Keel Hussain walking in once more. Overton whips the ball into the onside without much timing. He'll only get 1, turns and gets that second. In fact, he's powerful plays, much sought after in franchise cricket, Jamie Overton, because he can, from the off, hit a long ball.
Yeah, good fielder. Can bowl wicket taker through those middle overs, can't he be? I think now how England would love him to score 30 off 18 balls.
Well, that would be advantageous. 58 needed from 27. He's rather cramped for room there by Hussain. 1 taken down the ground. England not panicking at the moment, clearly.
No, this is the 1 over, isn't it? You can afford to have an over of 8 here. 7, 8, 9, something like that. It doesn't have to be a monster. You've got the seamers to come back. That's where they'll back themselves.
Keel Hussain. At the far end of the ground, bowling to Sam Curran, who on strike. Waits with this open stance as Hussain walks towards him. And Curran goes hard at that. It's in the air. Fielder running round. Won't get there. Lands between two. It was close. And he did go for the big yahoo, and it wasn't quite out of the middle of anything.
Well, he's got away with that. It's good bowling. Slower outside off stump, and Curran caught neither here nor there. He wasn't forward and able to sweep it as he'd probably wanted to, but didn't have the time to pull out of the shot, so just flapped at it outside the off stump, and it hung in the air forever, and no fielder could get underneath it.
14 balls since the boundary as Akeal Hussain walks towards us with his final delivery now. Delivered in to Overton, down the ground, and caught over the ropes, back into play, and Rovman Powell juggles on the boundary but does take the catch. Overton goes, he leans on his bat at the non-striker's end, but I think he probably knows from the reaction of the West Indies fielders that this is going to be out. And with that, possibly England's hopes in this game. He'd played a almost tentative lofted shot as opposed to really giving it the full beans, and that might have just cost him.
Cleanly taken there, does not touch the boundary, gets rid of the ball, back inside the field of play, and the catch is completed. Thank you, ready to make my decision, thanks.
It's going to be out, and Overton goes at a run of ball 5. It's great work on the boundary, and was that necessary? I mean, England needing to go at 14 and over, you could argue if it's in your arc and you fancy it, then yeah, but I'm just not sure he committed to the stroke.
Yeah, it was like trying to time it up over wide mid-off for 6 as opposed to go through with the shot. Had he extended his arms or had a full follow-through up over his shoulder, it would almost certainly have gone for 6. He wasn't near the pitch of the ball, and it was good bowling. It looked to hold in the surface just a touch, and it is a yard away from going for 6, and we praise him for the shot if it goes for 6, but his greatest strength is hitting seam bowlers out the ground, and in those last 4 overs, needing the runs that England do, would have been better served with him there, even if it is 14 and over, as now is the case.
So Jofra Archer moves up the order, as opposed to Liam Dawson, who was carded to come in next. They're looking for the big hitting of Archer, and with Chase bowled out, Moti bowled out, and now Hussain also having bowled his 4, it will be down to the West Indies seamers, but 56 from 24. It's going to take some effort from Sam Curran, who's on 25 off 18, and then Jofra Archer. It is worth pointing out these sides are neck and neck in terms of where they were at this point in the innings, but went on to get that big score, and West Indies were only 5 down at that point, so it is a slightly different ball game, and of course the pressure of what you need to go and get. Jane emails in Cardiff. I read somewhere after the Ashes, no one needed a T20 World Cup. I couldn't disagree more. I'm in South Wales. It's been grey and raining for as long as I can remember. Now there's cricket on TMS all day. It's wonderful and it's uplifting. So there you go. Thank you, Jane. TMS at bbc.co.uk. As a paper plane goes drifting from one of the high tiers up above us. Fans leaning right over the edge of the stand up to my right. Start of a new over, which is dug out first ball down the ground, with England now needing 55 from 23. Archer will be on strike. Shamar Joseph into a 3rd over. It's slipping from England, this, Stephen.
It feels like it, but I'm reticent to speak too soon, because there are certainly situations where we've seen Curran. Liam Dawson is still to come, who's very capable and can hit 6s as well. He's not just a nudger nerdler, he can clear the rope. So there is still batting. It's going to take something really special for England to do it, for sure. So I'm concerned without being gravely concerned yet.
Okay.
Or I could be gravely concerned without having completely given up hope. It's probably a more realistic position to take.
Okay, so you're not... there is still one position to be in, which is no hope. Here is Shamar Joseph. Low full toss, which is dug out down the ground. Very well fielded by a tumbling Jason Holder, who even when he ends up down on his knees is about 3 feet taller than the rest of us. 143 for 7. 2 singles to start this 17th over. England need 54 from 22. They were going at around 12 for the final 7 or 8 overs, West Indies. That's really what fired them up towards the big total that England have been trying to chase down. They were going along very nicely. It's just struggled to build partnerships, and that has been the undoing. There's been lots of starts, but no one's gone on. 30 for Salt, 33 for Bethel, Butler 21, Brooks 17. Curran's there, unbeaten on 26, and there's going to be runs there down the ground. Oh, I thought he got more of it than he did. In fact, he just gets the 1, and again, it's another single. The required rate is 15. I'm looking at you, Finney, at what point you do move into the next gear.
Give me
3 balls?
Yeah, see at the end of this over. We're happy to reassess always. It's been good from Joseph though. Get that Yorker right in, so even if it is a full toss, it's hitting the toe of the bat.
23 needed from 21. Boundaries needed for England. Jofra Archer is trying to play. Oh, the most delicate shovel down to fine leg, and that is a fine stroke. I tell you what, batting at number 9 ain't what it used to be, Stephen. That is a brilliant shot from Archer. Steps across his stumps, and the little ramp over the fielder at short fine leg.
It's outstanding, isn't it? Joseph going for that Yorker again, drifting in towards the leg stump, and Archer just the most delicate of dabs. He's in there to boom 6s as we know he can. He's got the deft touch too.
49 needed from 20. 148 for 7 England. Joseph to Archer, who's smacking the ball down the ground towards Rothman Powell below us. England 1 away from the 150 mark. That was a real flamboyant stroke from Archer. Sam Curran is on 27 off 20. England need 48 off 19 balls. You're listening to Test Match Special live from the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. As we see Joseph preparing again. Round the wicket to bowl to Curran. That's a good ball. Right in the block hole. Bunted out into the offside. 1 taken. So he'll have the strike, will Curran. And 3 overs remain with England needing 47 from 18 balls. Right then, go on. 3 balls have gone. Where are we?
Struggling. Just under 16 and over. It just is still doable. We saw Holder go for 24. He's just taken his cap off and is about to give it to the umpire. The hulking figure of Jason Holder is just handing that over now. So it's doable, but it's not looking brilliant for England here. Sam Curran is going to have to do a majority of this whacking. But again, T20 is just a funny game where you think it's going one way. Look at the game earlier, Afghanistan, South Africa, and then it doesn't. And the switches in momentum and the changes in who is ahead of the game can happen so quickly. So,
well, look at the Nepal game the other night.
Exactly.
So we're going to see Jason Holder, who's 1 over so far, went for 24. It was a very different game at that point with Phil Salt taking rather a liking to the former captain. Curran looks around. Where are his boundary options? It's a deep cover, quite square. It's a long off, long on, deep mid-wicket and deep backward square. And Curran goes hard down the ground, but will only pick out that man at long on. It's Rothman Powell. 1 taken. Archer will be on strike.
What is certain, England need a boundary, or at least 3-4 boundaries soon, because otherwise they are leaving it much too late. The rate, every single ball that is not going for a boundary, the rate's escalating. 16.2 needed now, but West Indies have nailed their skills so far.
Well, we wondered whether they'd have the bowlers that be able to do this at the back end of an innings. So far they have. England need 46 from 17. Archer struck on the pad. There's going to be trouble at the non-strikers end, and he's run out. Holder picks up, shies at the stumps. Archer didn't know where the ball had gone. Well, quickly enough, it was smacking into the stumps at the non-strikers end to see England lose another wicket. And Archer goes for 6. England 151 for 8. And now it really is looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, excellent from Holder. It hits Archer on the boots, and around the wicket, Yorker fired right in at Archer's heel, and it hits him on that heel. He doesn't really know where the ball's gone. Curran's called him through, obviously, because Curran wants the strike in this situation, and by the time the ball was in Holder's hand, Archer was only halfway down the wicket and he'd given up by the time Holder did a full-blooded throw at all 3 stumps. Lights up the Zinger Bales and gets the West Indies their 8th wicket. They have been outstanding, and Holder, after having a tricky start to the innings with the ball in hand, has delivered 2 perfect Yorkers here to keep the pressure on England.
There was a degree of violence to that throw, I think it's
he
fair to say.
He meant it, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's fair to say.
So Liam Dawson to the middle, batting for England for the first time in a World Cup match, with England needing the not so easy task of 46 from 16 balls. There's a gentleman in a Trinidad and Tobago hat, West Indies shirt and Manchester United scarf that's been shown a lot on the big screen tonight, and he's absolutely loving life. West Indies, who we saw comprehensively beating Scotland, are about to do the British Isles double by the looks of things. Sam Curran on strike. England need 46 from 16. He goes hard at that, into the leg side, but again it'll just be the single. Liam Dawson knows that pushing for a second is not going to be wise, as Hetmeyer quickly in from the boundary to field. 45 from 15. Those fans outside the commentary box in their shirt sleeves, Newcastle United shirt, a couple of England shirts, looking up at us thinking that something, they must look at us thinking we're really peculiar and our hoodies wrapped up tight.
I'm certainly glad I brought mine to the ground.
The aircon is, I think it's fair to say, enthusiastic. Holder around the wicket to bowl to the right-handed Dawson. Gets a full delivery. He'll tap down the ground for 1. That's good bowling again, right where it needs to go. At the toes, new batter. Not much you can do with it. And suddenly, the required rate 19 and over.
How are first and second in the group separated? If they're level on points.
Net run rate.
Net run rate.
So at the moment, in this group, Group C, West Indies are at the top by virtue of the big win they got against Scotland. England's very narrow win against Nepal, therefore, didn't do an awful lot for their net run rate. 44 needed from 14 balls. Curran goes hard at that, down the ground for 6. Oh, that's a big hit. He meant that and he got all of it. Well, more where that came from is urgently required. 38 needed from 13.
There's dancing in the stands down there. I think that's been caught. Certainly a big old hit. It went high. Holder just misses his Yorker, and Curran, stepping outside leg, is able to have a free swing at that one. It would have hit the stumps had he missed it, and that was Holder's temptation when he saw Curran going, was to think of go for the glory, go for the stumps, but that's exactly where the batter wants it in that moment, and manages to get underneath it and hit up over wide, long off for 6.
Final ball of the 18th over. England need 38 from 13. Curran will get a ball he's happy to ease into the onside for 1, backing himself to do the work, with 37 required for the final 2 overs. Stranger things have happened.
They have, and it's it feels ominous for England now, clearly. That many runs from 2 overs, but all you need is bang bang. The game earlier, I keep harping on about the game earlier, but the super over, Afghanistan, 3 sixes in a row, then a wide, and then they only needed 4 off the very last ball to try and tie the second super over to take it to a 3rd super over. So as long as Curran is facing, anything can happen, but Shamar Joseph has been excellent today. Nailed his Yorkers in the previous over. The West Indies have been really on it. They've made some good, smart, tactical decisions. Been 1 step ahead of England and deserve to be in the position they are right now.
Well, we'll have full reaction to this game on the Test Match Special podcast on BBC Sounds. We'll be hearing from both captains. Player of the match, who could yet be Sam Curran. England set the hefty but not insurmountable target of 197. Find themselves at 160 for 8 with 2 overs remaining. So 37 needed from 12 balls as Shamar Joseph comes into bowl to Sam Curran. Round the wicket, he's in now and strikes the pads. He's annoyed because that was there to be hit. And he's not managed to get hold of it. Looking to target mid-wicket, he misses.
It just looked like the perfect length to get under, didn't it? He didn't try and hit it all that hard. It would have just been time it up into the night sky and it would have sailed all the way for 6. And Joseph's got away with one there.
And Curran knows it as well. He takes off one glove, stretches his arm, puts it back on again, scratches like a chicken at the crease, and is ready to go. As is Joseph, who comes rushing in now, and that is outside the off stump. And having taken that step to the leg side, Curran, though he looks longingly towards the umpire, is not going to get the reward of a wide. And it's 2 dots to start the over, and England suddenly need 37 from 10.
Good bowling. Curran went early enough. His back foot is on the wide line towards the leg side, so it gives Joseph the absolute freedom to just bowl it out towards the offside wide line, and Curran was never ever going to be able to reach it. It was a good 6 inches inside that blue line. Good bowling.
Joseph to Curran. It's hit down the ground. He's not got all of it. Fielder running in, isn't going to try and take the catch. Happy instead to field on the bounce. Could be a run out. I think that probably is, actually. I think the dive from Dawson, who was a little tardy in setting off, is going to see a 9th wicket fall. And the way that he's hauling himself up and the reaction from West Indies fielders suggests that that is out. And indeed, up goes the finger. England are 9 down. Albeit Sam Curran will be on strike. Dawson was just a little slow setting off. And the low full toss from Curran as it dropped towards Holder. That decision not to try and take the catch, a good one, even though he fumbled it. Throw came in. Bails off. And Liam Dawson goes.
They've been sharp tonight, the West Indies, haven't they? The bit of a fumble there from Holder, a blot on his report card, but the recovery and then the throw right over the top of the stumps meant that Dawson, even though he put in a gallant dive and then lay there in the mud for about 10 seconds before getting up and dragging himself off, the West Indies have been far too good for England this evening. I thought at the halfway stage, actually, that they'd got more than England wanted them to. I think England would have been happy with 180 in the position that they were. But the West Indies lower order hitting, in particular Jason Holder, was outstanding to get them to that target of 196. But you just felt it's one partnership, and the way that Salt came flying out the blocks, you felt as though England were in a great position, but the spinners in particular have put the screw, or turned the screw on England, and had no answer in those middle overs.
Well, England need 36 from 9. Curran is on strike on 38 off 28. England desperately need boundaries. There might be one there. It's clattered away over the offside. That's a fabulous shot for we're on bounce 4. He's a dangerous player, is Sam Curran. England do bat deep. They've just not had enough players that have managed to build partnerships. It's 165 for 9, 32 needed from 8.
It's just such an easy swing of the bat, isn't it? He's not a big man at all, Sam Curran, but the power that he can generate up and over extra cover as well. He's developed his batting to be a really valuable player in that middle order. 32
needed from 8. Joseph to Curran, digs it out into the offside. It goes out towards Hepmeyer, 1 taken. Rashid will be on strike, with England needing 31 off 7. When you get an email that is all in capital letters,
what are they angry about?
Yeah, it tends to be that way, especially when the subject line is also all capitals and there is no punctuation whatsoever. Gary emails. Subject, abysmal. Utterly abysmal chase. And I'm assuming he's just not talking about Roston.
Roston was a great addition for the West Indies.
Very well. Come on, Gary, it seems a bit harsh. I'm not sure it has quite been that. We'll give the full debrief at the end of the game with Finney and Prakash, but I think I think it's fair to say needing 26.5 and over, England aren't going to win this game. 9 down. as Adil Rashid waits and will whip the ball into the leg side. Could be a chance of a catch. And there is the game for West Indies. A really good low catch in the deep. Roston Chase tumbling forward. England all out for 166. And West Indies flags are flying around the Wankhede Stadium here in Mumbai, because they've beaten England by 30 runs. And it's been pretty comprehensive in the end. England would have felt confident at the halfway stage, if not short. But West Indies have absolutely nailed it.
A fair delivery.
They're checking it.
If you could have your best angle for the catch, thanks. Let's get it in from here, thanks.
But I think that was a clean catch.
Are we able to zoom that up, or have you got another angle, like a side-on angle at all for me?
Sometimes you get this at the end of a game where the momentum just goes from the celebration and the umpire's taking the bails off. I think that's a fair catch, don't you?
It looked it, didn't it? And the way he celebrated.
Any other angles for me? It's like the fingers are around the ball.
The way he celebrated certainly suggested that it was a clean catch.
Okay. Nice and slow for me, thanks.
The slower you look at it, the worse it looks.
Always, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more angles you see, the more you think, oh, maybe not, but I think he's taking it.
They're all shaking hands whilst this chase going on.
Roll that through for me, thanks. Roll it through.
The broadcasters are on the pitch.
Ground staff coming out, broadcasters coming out.
I made my decision. Thanks for the big screen.
I've made my decision, and that decision is surely out. Has to be. It is. End of the game. West Indies win by 30 runs, and so England lose their second match. West Indies make it 2 from 2.